Let's do it. I'm Black Hannibal, running through your capital on elephants. Civilized a savage with my elegance. Militant intelligence, run through your defense. Strike like a ninja, slice, cut, and injure. Leave no prisoners, just bodies on the battlefield. I'm Spartacus with a sword and shield. Something like a marksman with cold blue steel. War paint on my face, keep my identity concealed. Advance on your camp like dozens of killer ants. Snatch your king like chess, checkmate, this is death. While my team have fun with your queen. Throw your bishops off the roof, your knights flee the scene. I plant bombs in the home of your pawns. The detonation shook the foundation of your rooks. Holding shotguns with double barrels. They impact so hard when it blasts through your body travels. Street Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Burn your flag as I overthrow your government. New politics, no Democrats and Republicans. Spiritual systems built by wise men who's true in living. The foundation's no longer Christian. Teaching universally the wisdom of the nations. New currency, no more dollar bills with white faces. No more Caucasian domination. All races participating, cultivating education. The people hungry and they ain't waiting. No more debating. Let's overthrow the haven to Satan. This whole world needs some new changes. Rulers with new faces. It's time to take out the racists. Spartacus from the new ages. From the page to the stage, pull a blade on the money changers. Spartacus from the new ages. From this page to the stage, pull a blade on the money changers. Peace, power, and prosperity. What's going on? Rob Blackstorm. Hopefully you can hear me. My other microphone broke. Like the handle literally broke while I was trying to put this together. That's what delayed me. Like it just, like the leg just broke. So thank you for still tapping in. I hope you can hear me. If you can, and if you are here, type a 1. Let me know you can hear me. Just a 1. So I know that everybody can hear me clearly. Peace, J Rock. What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, shout out to everybody who is coming in, who will be coming in the chat. This one is going to be a banger. Okay. Thank you, J Rock. I appreciate it. All right. So y'all can hear me. This one is going to be a banger. Got a lot of information. Shout out to all the new subscribers that are here. Got a lot of stuff to show y'all about 2025, the year we're headed into, what's been going on. What I want to do is, first and foremost, I still want to shout out the people that are in California. All right. Even though it's not prominent in the news, those people are still suffering and going through, displacement of their homes, their families and things like that. So I still want to send them positive energy, wish them the best, much prosperity and success, sending great vibes out to y'all who are out there. All right. Like I said, I got a lot to cover. If you are here, definitely contribute to the chat. I love hearing from y'all. Sometimes y'all provide stuff in the chat that, help me out in my presentation, and I even learn from y'all. So don't hesitate to tap into the chat and, tap in with me. Again, shout out to the new subscribers. The channel has been doing well over the last couple of weeks. Probably the best it's done in years. So I promise to bring y'all stuff. I know I've been delaying this video for a while, but life happens. And I'm glad I'm able to do it today. I'm very grateful to have you all here. All right, so let's get started on some current events. Then we're going to get into some signs and symbolisms of 2025. Some of the things that you could look at and see for yourself when you're looking at movies, when you're reading books, when you're looking at shows, right? You'll be able to decode some of the symbolism and see how it applies to your life. As I heard a YouTuber say, spirituality, what did he say? Spirituality that does not affect your reality is vanity. I think that's Nero knowledge, right? So I don't want to take his credit. Spirituality that does not affect your reality is vanity. So the whole purpose of this is not for you to be the smartest person in your hood, not for you to be the smartest person at your job, not for you to be the smartest person at your family, but to help improve your actions at your job, help improve your business, help improve the way you interact with your family, and help improve, most importantly, yourself. Because without improving yourself, there is no purpose in even diving into spirituality. You know, just knowing a lot of stuff, it's not going to help you. There's a lot of people who know a lot of stuff that are in jail right now because their character was poo. All right. So we want to develop spiritual character, spiritual science, and understand how the things we're looking at can benefit us or be prepared for what may be targeting us so we could avoid it and also defend ourselves spiritually. So shout out to J Rock, shout out to Sophia, and let's get started. All right. So let me present this. And like I said, I got a lot to cover. So I'm going to try to run through some of this stuff and present it in a way so we can understand 2025 to the fullest. Let's see, is it coming up? Let me pull. Yeah, there we go. All right. So let's do this. And let me double check and make sure y'all can see. All right, perfect. So we had recently, as you guys know, some of you guys still see the after effects of it, where there was a winter storm, right, that hit Louisiana, hit Florida, hit Texas. All right. So at least 5 people died. You know, a lot of people in these places saw snow for the first time, right? Now, I find it very ironic that, and you should too, that the first day after, you know, we have this whole, uh, let's say this election, right, with Donald Trump, that the next day, wait, where am okay, let me see. All right, but anyway, I find it weird that the next day, right, what happens is, okay, there we are. The next day that there's snow, right? The day after Donald Trump gets elected, there's snow. Now, a lot of people like to talk about HARP and HARP and HARP. And I'm not saying that HARP had no involvement in the snow falling or in these things happening. But what I am saying is that there is also something called geoengineering, right? Apart from the cloud seeding, which causes rain and things like that. And geoengineering, what it is that geoengineering is basically designed to block out the sun. So when you block out the sun, you have certain conditions, cold conditions that develop, right? Which can cause something like this to happen. Do I think this is a retaliation by the people that, you know, do have access to this technology that may have a Republican leaning? Because what we have to understand is America is a business, right? We've been fed the lie that America is about freedom, justice, and equality. But all you have to do is look around and you understand that it's who has the most money that will get freedom, justice, and equality. If you could pay enough, you could get out of jail. If you could pay enough, right, you could get, you know, quote unquote justice for yourself, even if it's injustice for someone else, right? And equality is a misnomer when it comes to people on our objective plane, right? There's no such thing as equality. Just because me and you have the same color doesn't mean that we're equal. Just because me and you are men, right, as far as a gender, doesn't mean that we're equal, right? The whole thing about equality is it doesn't exist when it comes to on the objective plane. Now, subjectively, yeah, you could say we all pee and poop and we're all quote unquote humans, right? But you can't compare a tiger to a panther. You can't compare a panther to a lion, right? They're all different. So anyway, I say all this to say that there are ops. And what we're looking at really is a war between the old money, right? The old oligarchy, which is the oil barons, the aka robber barons of the past, who had all their money in oil. And now we're looking at the new robber barons, which are the tech barons, right? The Elon Musk, the David Ellisons, right? Which we'll get into. So they're having a war. There's a war amongst themselves. And you could have saw that when you saw the State of the Union 2021, 2022, right, where there was beef in with Joe Biden and the Republicans and how they were going at each other. There's a war going on outside, as Mobdi said, no man is safe from, right? So this war had consequences. So it's just ironic that as soon as Donald Trump wins the next day, that these primarily Republican states, Louisiana, Florida, Texas, Mississippi, just happened to get hit with unremarkable, record-breaking snowfall. All right. So we got to look at these things and really understand what we're up against. Yes, these people can manipulate the weather, but like I always say, like I said in my last video, we have the ability to manipulate the weather as well. We have the ability to control the weather as well. Sun dances, rain dances, even, studying the 120 as a member of the Nation of Gods and Earths in the past, one of the degrees is what makes rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes. And the answer is the Son of Man. So never forget, you have the power to change the trajectory of anything. And, I was holding a meditation space, and I'll get off this soon, but I was holding a meditation space in my head and even my past videos for rain to come to California. And lo and behold, there should be rain either today or tomorrow hitting California, a heavy dose of rain at that, So I don't want to take full credit. This is something Minister Jew was talking about as well. But it's something that I also contributed in my meditations to see these people get rain. So shout out to them, you know what I'm saying? And again, much blessings to them. So let's keep going. Now, the big news is obviously Trump revokes order that banned discrimination in federal hiring, right? This whole DEI thing, right? So everybody's panicking, people are going crazy. People are, talking about banning Target. That's the target. The target is Target, and they want to ban Target, right? And the thing about it is, like, I dropped a video on Instagram about this, but like banning Target doesn't make sense because there's other places that people are not banning that are also DEI adverse, right? Or diversity, equity, and inclusion adverse, right? They don't want you to, they're not messing with y'all either, right? The so-called black and brown or whatever. And the DEI thing, well, we'll get into it, but they don't want you either, right? So what they're doing is and this is also a callback to what we're going to go into, the whole Pluto and Aquarius, right, piece that took place in November of last year. And we'll get into that. But this is also a sign and symbol of that. But the DEI never applied to really melanated people. What's up, Soul Matters? DEI never really applied to melanated people. The people who benefited from DEI most were white women, right? And Indian women, right? Not black men, not black women. White women and Indian women were the people who benefited from DEI the most. That's a fact. You go on my page, look it up. I have it posted twice, right? I did a video on it and I have it posted on my page, right? And you could just literally go on your phone right now and Google it, right? And it'll pop up, right? That white women benefited the most from DEI. So the benefits that we think we got, we didn't get, right? So boycotting Target is not going to do anything. And also Meta, right? Facebook, Instagram also got rid of their DEI initiatives. Nobody's talking about boycotting them. Nobody's talking about boycotting Instagram. Nobody's talking about boycotting Facebook, right? Also, McDonald's reduced their DEI initiatives. Also, Walmart reduced their DEI initiatives. Nobody's talking about boycotting the Big Mac. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's talking about boycotting the Happy Meal or the large fries. You understand what's up, Vanita? Nobody's talking about boycotting those things. But yet and still, they want to boycott Target because, again, it's an easy target, right? For you to think that you're doing something, but you're not really doing anything. But this is a sign and symbol, right? Not of non-progress, but the way I look at this is it is a chance to rebuild Black Wall Street again, all over and in different areas. Not only because we have the internet, but it gives us a chance, those of us that understand how to build and understand how to network, to get things in order. And let me ask y'all a question. Now, you could put this in the comments. How many people with crystals, with ankhs, with dashikis, with beautiful names, right? Said they were building schools, right? And you may have donated. How many people have you gave money to and not seen a return on your investment? Not have gotten your products? not have received what you ordered, right? Not have gotten a refund from your stuff. I know me, I've been burned at least 3 times by Negroes with crystals on. 3 times, right? Myself, totaling probably close to $300. I've been burnt by Negroes with crystals on that were spiritual, that were mystical, that were this and that, right? Now, I'm not saying it always has happened, but it has happened. You know what I'm saying? So, what are we really talking about here, right? We're talking about that we have to change the paradigm of how we deal with each other. And it's not a black and white thing, right? It is a people thing. It's how people deal with people. It's a ma'at thing. It's a balance thing, right? It's a heart being light as a feather thing. And sometimes in order to get things organized, you have to go through some sort of chaos or destruction in order to bring order, right? So what we're going to see in 2025, we're going to see a lot of chaos. We're going to see a lot of disorder because America is falling apart. And I've been saying this since last year. America is on its way out, right? It's one of these empires that's going to fall. And Trump most likely is going to be the last president in America. All right. So this is not something that we should be worried about. We created the pyramids, right? We created civilization. We brought agriculture to America, right? The refrigerated truck, GPS. Again, go look up black chemists, black inventors, right? George Washington Carver got like 100 patents on peanuts, right? All the things that we've created here in America and overseas, right? In Africa, we cannot ignore that we have the ability to be innovative. There was a tweet by, not a tweet, but a post by Isaac Hayes the third. He owns the internet site Fanbase, a black-owned site Fanbase. And a lot of people criticize Fanbase because they saw Isaac Hayes the third, and he had a picture, and all the people in the background were Caucasian people working for him. But hello, David Stern has how many black Adam Silver of the NBA. How many melanated people does he have working for him, under him, right? It's easy for him to roll out a Black Lives Matter on the court during the whole scamdemic, right, in the bubble, but because they're working for him. So if Isaac Hayes III is doing the same thing and running a black-owned empire, we shouldn't criticize that because that's what we want to see, people that look like us in power. So we have the ability to create. So we shouldn't be panicking. We should be innovating. But one of his posts was talking about, and he did put this in ChatGPT, what would happen if melanated people, so-called black people, left these social media sites, Instagram, Facebook, TikToks, all that, and created their own. Those sites would fall. What's the other site where people are always talking? Not Fanbase, where it's just people talking, and it's a new one. I forget the name of it right now. Clubhouse, right? We're the ones that keeping Clubhouse alive. Melanated people with their gossip, with their foolishness, whack 100 of them, we're the ones keeping Clubhouse alive. So we need to realize that, yes, he signed this law back when it was needed, but now we have the internet. We have the ability to network with each other. We have the ability to create, but it's going to start with shit falling apart because unfortunately, we need hard times to create strong men. And that's what hard times do. Hard times create strong men and or women, right? So let's continue going. And I want you to understand also what was happening before all these things were happening. This is what was happening, right? And this is very important to look at and understand because this is not something that was highly publicized, right? And this happened right before the scamdemic, right? And there's a reason this happened before the scamdemic. And I'm not saying don't worry, I am saying don't worry because really, what are you going to do about it, right? The only thing you can do about it is prepare for change and get your mind, your spirit, your pockets, your body right so that you can handle whatever is going to come your way. And this is what I am going to show you, some of these things that you could do. Now, did you know this, right? Poverty rates for Blacks and Hispanics reached historic lows in 2019, okay? Inequalities persist despite decline in poverty for all major race and Hispanic origin groups. Okay. So we was on the way up, okay, before the pandemic. We was on the way up financially. All right. In 2019, the poverty rate for the United States was 10.5, the lowest that was ever first released in 1959. Poverty rates declined between 2018 and 2019 for all major race and Hispanic origin groups. Two of these groups, Blacks and Hispanics, reached historic lows in their poverty rates in 2019. You didn't see this on your evening news. You didn't see this on your news feed. You didn't see people talking about this in 2019, right? People were going about their day, twerking, drilling, you know, chilling, uh, you know, just talking about relationships. But this was not known to you that the poverty rate was declining. Now, the one thing for sure, two things for certain, is in the system of capitalism, you need a bottom. You need people at the bottom. You need people that are a lower class, because at the end of the day, while they feed you black and white and FBA versus Caribbean and ADOS versus FBA and men versus women and gender wars and things like that, what they're not telling you is the real war is classism, right? Race is infused in class. So when you say somebody's black, brown, or what they call the new thing, they have BIPOC, right? You're saying that that is a class. It's a class of people that occupy that, right? And there is another class, which is quote unquote classified as white, which could be people that are born in America, which could be somebody like Elon Musk from South Africa, which could be somebody from Ireland, which could be somebody from Lithuania, right? Which could be somebody from wherever, right? Russia, right? They're all classified under white. So that classism, right, is what who said this? Lyndon B. Johnson, right? If I could convince, if I do this, meaning signing the civil rights bill, which we just showed, if I convince these Negroes that, you know, that if I do this for these Negroes, I can have them voting Democrat for the next 300 to 400 years, right? Or next 100 years or something like that, right? So this is a class thing. It's not really about race. That is the real war. And that war is going to amplify with Trump in office. So I just want you to understand what was happening and why the scamdemic was in place, right? Again, America is a business, first and foremost, not a country. America is a corporation, right? It's a capitalistic corporation. And all the propaganda, freedom, justice, equality, the flag, Christianity, is all marketing. That's all it is, marketing. But they'll never market your powers. They'll never market your true wealth, which is the spirit of imagination and creativity and magic and manifesting. That will never be marketed to you. Your success will never be marketed to you. Let's continue. So you have what's recently happened. Musk pours cold water on Trump-backed Stargate AI project. Now, this Stargate project, this AI project, right? And this is interesting because he says billionaire says companies behind the project don't have enough money to follow through on pledges, right? Saying they don't have enough money to follow through on pledges. It's like ads about to pop up. So yeah, they don't have enough money to follow through on pledges. So it says President Trump stood alongside prominent tech executives today at the White House to unveil what he called a tremendous and monumental $500 billion artificial infrastructure project. Hours later, Elon Musk publicly questioned whether the joint venture would ever get off the ground. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now I look at this and I see cracks in armor. All right. A house divided cannot stand. A house divided cannot stand. I don't predict this whole marriage with Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, and Donald Trump, who wants to be the richest man in the world, lasting, right? That's just me. I don't think this is going to last the whole 4 years. I think their egos are going to clash, right? But what they're talking about with the Stargate AI project is very interesting, right? Because it has roots in something else, right? And we'll get to that shortly, right? The transhuman, this Stargate project and what it really is and what it is really about. Because all it is really about surveillance, right? At the end of the day, that's really all it's about. It's about surveillance. It's about tracking you. It's about a new paradigm of you being under control, right? And it's going from organic surveillance to inorganic surveillance with AI. Also, with those things that they put inside people during 2020 that notably, and you can research this for yourself, if you look at other countries' news, had metal, right? Had nanotechnology. If you got that hokey pokey shot, hey, people have to do what they had to do, right? If you had that hokey pokey shot, right, there's a chance you have nanotechnology in you, right? There's a chance that when you saw that strange fog in your city, shortly after that strange fog hit your city, right, which had smart dust in it, you got sick, right? You might be sick now, you know. I'm dealing with something right now where I keep having one nostril. This one nostril just keeps locking up, and I didn't take the jab, right? But this one nostril's been locked up for like the last 4 days, and I don't understand why. If sometimes it'll be gone away. I go to sleep and I wake up, it's back, just one nostril, right? So obviously, but I also do have two big prominent Wi-Fi towers, right? One in the corner, one on top of the building next to me, right? And like 4 or 5 on a building across from me. You know what I'm saying? So if you think they're not pumping things out or waves of frequency, right? Because they understand that people are waking up because we're in a higher solar cycle, right? I have to let you know that is not the case, ladies and gentlemen. All right. There is a war against you, and the war is for your consciousness. All right. The war is for your obedience. The war is for your subservience. And this is all 2025 stuff. Now, this is from Substack, right? And it says seeks Ellison's of Oracle seeks U.S. ID cards. So Ellison, well, let me just read this. In the wake of the September 11th terrorist attacks, Oracle's Ellison wants to lend a hand. The CEO of the world's leading database software maker, is pressing for the government to make a national identification card. This, I believe, is coming in May, right? This national identification card, and is even offering to create the software needed to do it free of charge, right? This is in 2001, all right, where he said he wanted to create this national ID card, which is coming, all right, which in 2025, it's here. They're creating a national ID card, the real ID card, all right? So it says in an interview aired Friday night on San Francisco's KPIX TV, Ellison said, "We need a national ID card with our photograph and thumbprint digitized and embedded in the ID card." And if you look at the real ID card information, that's exactly what they're doing. All right. So get your passport so you don't have to get a real ID, so you could travel with your passport and you don't have to get a real ID. All right. That's what I will be doing. And I would recommend you do that yourself. If you don't have your passport, now's the time to get it. All right. Ellis, and especially what's happening in America, right? You want to be prepared. If you got to go, you could go. Ellison is proposing that the information embedded in the ID cards be placed on a database. Listen, because this is leading back to Stargate, right? This is what Stargate is about, right? Ellison's proposing that the information embedded in the ID cards be placed on a database, which would be used by airport security to confirm the identities of travelers before they board the airplanes. So before you board the airplane, they'll know what type of food you like. They'll know what type of corn you watch, right? On videos, right? They'll know what type of women you like, what type of men you like, what type of content you consume, what type of TV shows you watch, what type of food you feed your children, what type of food you feed yourself, feed your credit cards and your debit cards, right? They'll know all these things, right? And if you look at China, China right now has the social ID score. China was the testing ground for all these things to happen. See, they tell you in the news that there's a war between China and America, but I've showed this in past videos. All the presidents keep going to China as soon as they get elected. They always take a trip to China. They're always smiling in the pictures. They're always shaking hands. But they make it seem like there's some sort of war between them because that is the propaganda. So it says in the past, proposals. Now remember, this is in 2001. In the past, proposals for national ID cards have faced fear opposition from civil liberty groups who contend that cards invade people's privacy. Ellison argues that thanks to the World Wide Web, Americans have little privacy anyway. Speaking of World Wide Web, all right, the WWW and World Wide Web in Hebrew letters, the W equals the number 6. So World Wide Web is 666. Little fun fact for you to think about. Also, the internet has already been in existence since the 1960s. It was under the name ARPANET. This is not what they are going to tell you. This is what I'm telling you, right? And you could pull this stuff up. There's a book called Secret Societies and Spiritual Warfare by Frederick Dodson. And he'll break down all this stuff with proof that you could look at for yourself. Secret Societies and Spiritual Warfare by Frederick Dodson. All right. So this is what Stargate is about. It's about gathering your information. It's about getting your fingerprint on this digital ID cards, right? And being able to track you wherever you are. All right. So that is the agenda. Whether you want to believe it or not, this is what's happening. All right. And this is by my guy. Hopefully it'll load up. Hopefully, okay, here it is. Also, I would recommend you subscribe to Adika Butler's Substack. Very prolific author, mysticism, magic, quote unquote, occultism. He probably wouldn't want me to say occultism. He would probably want me to say the African life sciences, right? I would call it African spiritual technology, but he goes in, right? He goes in with the science. So I would definitely highly recommend his Substack if you are not. Anyway, what I want to talk about that is on his Substack is, let me see if I could find it. I had it loaded up already, but you see what happened. If you are here and you appreciate this information, don't hesitate to hit the like button, all right? And subscribe to the channel, all right? I got a lot more coming in the future, all right? So he says, this is where I want to start, right? So he says, Elon Musk, who recently started his own AI venture, has publicly stated that he expects AGI to go live by 2029. What is AGI? AGI is artificial general intelligence. It's the highest expression of AI where programs begin to function as autonomous agents, right? So basically, this is the Terminator, right? Where it's functioning on its own, right? This is Agent Smith in the Matrix, right? All these movies that are pointing to a time where machine will rule man. Well, us as spiritual beings, we have the ability to stop and shift timelines, right? We could create a reality where this doesn't exist. And what I believe in during this time where Pluto is in Aquarius, which we'll get into, this revolutionary spirit will take over and this won't be a reality, right? We will be able to control these things and manage these things to where it doesn't get to this point, right? So Elon Musk, who recently started his own AI venture, has publicly stated that he expects AGI to go live by 2029. All right. And with AGI going live by 2029, this is the exact same year that Skynet launched its AI in the 1984 film The Terminator. All right. Musk also says that he anticipates humans landing on Mars by 2029. Now, you may or may not know that there is an Agenda 2030, right? Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum, where they say you will own nothing and be happy, right? This is their agenda, right? But none of them can stop the timing of God, right? The timing of the divine, right? But what they can do is give you a reality and have you buy into that reality. As I said in my last video, the Pope is called the Holy See, because his job is to control your perception. All right. His job is to control how you see him as a being of power. If you do not worship the Pope, if you do not worship what you see on the news, if you do not worship any god or any deity or anything that you perceive as a power that be, then that thing loses energy. That thing loses power. If you look at the show, what's that show that was on Stars? American Gods, right? They had Mr. World, they had Techno Boy, you had what you call it, I forget his name, something Moon, right? You had Wednesday, right, who represent Thor, Odin, right? And you had Easter. And in the last episode of the first season, there was all sorts of different Jesuses. There was a hippie Jesus, a black Jesus, an Indian Jesus, right? An Asian Jesus, all type of Jesuses, right? A homeless Jesus, right? All type of Jesuses that people were celebrating on Easter, because this is the energy based on perception, right? Based on perception, which creates a frequency. Whatever you focus on expands. Whatever you focus on expands. Whatever you focus on expands and grows and gets bigger. So if you're always focusing on conspiracies, if you're always focusing on what the white man is doing next, if you're always focusing on the horrors and the terrors in your neighborhood, if you're always focusing on hardship and how bad things are, then guess what? Those things are going to expand in your life. All right. So this reality of Skynet that they're trying to create is not something that will happen, right? So it says this evokes thoughts of another futuristic Schwarzenegger film, Total Recall, which is about a base on Mars. If you want to read this whole thing, I highly recommend you again subscribe to Adika Butler's um, channel, right? Or his Substack, I should say, right? And he goes in this particular thing. And he also breaks down how Schwarzenegger, trying to pull it up on this, and I like to show and prove. I mean, I could tell you this, but I'd rather show and prove it to you, because I know a lot of people on here, they're just going to tell you all type of stuff and they're not going to show and prove. So it says the surname Schwarzenegger means the black man in German. Okay. It means the black man in German. So Schwarzenegger's role coming back was to save, in the movie Terminator, was to save Sarah Connor and allow her to give birth to a Messiah, right? Which was John Connor. It's the same story of Set, right? Giving birth to Heru, and Heru taking on Set. Set representing being set here on Earth, which is why Set looks like an animal, right? The deity Set in Egyptian mythology, all right? Because it represents you being grounded here, because Earth is really a place for animals. All right. It's not really a place for humans. This is a place where animals will thrive without humans. If you go back to 2020, the pandemic, when people weren't on the streets, the animals was out and about and they was chilling, right? Roads that were being used by humans, they took over the roads, right? They were moving about. They were glad. I'm sure they were glad for that break to get away from humans. So we have to understand, right? This planet is a planet of lessons. It's a planet where we learn lessons. It's a planet of test, right? And once we leave here, right, we go on to another journey, right? Or we reincarnate back here again to relearn the lessons that are going to bring us closer to being one with the divine, to being one with God, to being a son of man, right? As the great mythology story of Jesus, he says himself, do you not know that you will do things greater than me, right? Also, John 10:34, do you not know that you are the temple of God? Right? He says this. Jesus was not with the church. He is not with the church. He did not like the church of his day, right? He did not mess with them. When 13, he saw what was happening in the temple, he left, right? As a child, he left his hometown and went to go study with the Egyptians because he was in Egypt, all right? Mary and Joseph brought him to Egypt. Anyway, I got more to cover, so I don't want to get too long-winded on that. Let me see if y'all still rocking with me. All right, y'all still here. Peace to Junkyard Jedi. All right, peace to Alaskan Avatar. All right. So yeah, now again, I highly recommend you subscribe to Adika Butler Substack. Highly recommend it. All right, because he's on point with what's going on and also very much with the future. But oh, this is what I want to show y'all before I even show y'all this. Right, this is also in his article. So if you remember, I'm not going to play this, but if you remember in the Terminator, right, it was a black man that created Skynet. All right. So we'll play a little bit of this, right? Just to give you an idea, because this is an older movie. Now, I remember they came out recently. Some of you may know they came out recently with something called Google Gemini, right? A new microprocessor chip. You see, a lot of times we think that it's because we've been brainwashed with Christianity to think that white men are gods, right? And I see this with a lot of people that are hardcore Christians, even people that come out of Christianity and also go into occultism. They immediately go into European mythology or Hindu mythology, right? Or study their spiritual systems or European occultism, right? Where these people are merely parroting, right, the things that they've learned from melanated beings over time. And they're merely trying to be what the Cometians are. They're merely trying to be what the Black Dravidians of Indish Kush were, right? They're merely trying to be what the Twa people and the Dogon people and the Sand Bushmen are, right? They're merely trying to mimic that magic in the best way possible, right? European mysticism is similar to this. I eat a plate of jerk chicken, right? And I say, man, this jerk chicken is great. You know what I'm saying? And you say, man, I want to get the recipe from that jerk chicken. I'll say, okay. I said, take out a plate, right? And you take out a plate and you vomit, and I vomit that jerk chicken on the plate. I say, here, this is the jerk chicken. Reproduce it, right? That's what a lot of European mysticism, masonry, John Dee, Madame Blavatsky, Aleister Crowley, all these people that melanated people are looking up to are doing. I'm not saying some of it doesn't have any relevancy and some of it you can't use to benefit yourself. But what I am saying is the carbon copy cannot be better than the original. I say this again, the carbon copy cannot be better than the original, right? So Skynet, right, which is literally the Stargate program. This is a metaphor, right? And this is predictive programming because, again, the internet's been around since the 1960s. It was called the ARPANET, all right? So they already are pre-programming you so that you can accept the reality that they want to create, right? This being the, as Ralph Smart would say, the inorganic ones, right? Let's go. So right now there's a war, right? between Russia and Ukraine. And while Russia and Ukraine is at war, AI is also advancing, right? And there's also drones being used at war. Okay. So I just want to highlight that and also just show you that behind all this. So this is what they're trying to do with quantum computing. They're trying to get where they have it at room temperature so that they could increase the capabilities of AGI, right? Where they're able to uh, manipulate, they're able to create these self-learning, self-knowing, basically terminators, right? And this is the agenda. But I just want you to understand that while you thinking that it's somebody that doesn't like you, that's really behind the scenes, right? Is somebody that looks just like you, that's behind the scenes. OpenAI appoints one of Wall Street's most powerful deal makers to the board. Okay. This guy, Adebayo Ogunlesi. All right. Interesting that his name is Ogunlesi. All right. Ogun being the god or the Ifa Yoruba deity that deals with steel, that deals with iron. All right. Look at his credits: King College, Lagos, first class philosophy, politics, and economics, University of Harvard, Harvard Law School, Harvard Business School, clerks for you, Supreme Court, Associated Justice Thurgood Marshall, Swain and Moore, right? First Boston. I mean, the list goes on, right? The list goes on, the list goes on, the list goes on, right? 2023, the biggest asset manager in the world, BlackRock, buys GIP for 12.5 billion, joins BlackRock as senior managing director. People from BlackRock right now are going around in California asking people, oh, there's no audio, my bad, I didn't know. But they're going, but y'all can hear me though, right? Well, basically, he was just breaking down in the Terminator thing. He was just breaking down what you call it, and I see they're doing that now. Like doing now, I can't. The audio on things I'm presenting is not coming up, but that's all right. We still gonna rock with this video, but that's what they're doing, right? So the thing, you think that there's somebody that's Caucasian behind this? No, right? This is the senior managing director of BlackRock. These are the people buying up all the real estate in America, right? These are the people that have investments in your Netflix, in your Warner brothers, right? In your Disney, right? These are the people that have influences. So when you watch things like what's the joint with Jamie Foxx, right? They clone Tyrone. BlackRock is a heavy investor in Netflix, right? So you think they don't know who you are? They know who you are better than you. They know you have this guy's genius in you better than you. And what they do is they recruit you. You know what I'm saying? Because they know you have this genius, they already recruit you so that you could work for them. And they throw you things so that they throw you coins, right? And they make you rich as long as you enrich them. And then what happens is you turn out to be somebody who sells out your people, right? That's the game, right? The game is for you to work for them and not work for your interests of your own people. And they start this whole thing in colleges, right? Through the whole through these Greek fraternities and things like that. And they also snatch these people up from poor countries, which I'm sure he's coming from. You know what I'm saying? Where does he come from? Lagos, right? So again, he's one of Wall Street's most powerful deal makers. Have you ever heard of him? Have you ever heard a rapper talk about him? Have you ever seen him on the news? No, you haven't. No, stop. Never forget who you really are and the powers that you really have. And stop giving your power away to these people that you think are so much more powerful than you, that are so much more mystical than you, that have so much more magic than you. They're your sons. How Elijah Muhammad said, they're children playing with two pieces of steel. But what these things happen, what's going to happen this year? It's going to force your spiritual abilities to come online. It's going to force you to get into your creative spirit. It's going to force you to tap into your spiritual consciousness and start aligning and get out of the gender wars and get out of the ADOs versus this and FBA versus this wars. Because when mama can't afford her medicine because it's going up 200, 300%, that's going to change the game. When you can't afford groceries because Trump has a trade war with people where you can't get bananas, you can't get fruits, you can't get flowers, right? That's going to change a lot of things. Let's continue. So this is, and hopefully the audio will pop up on this. Can y'all hear? Drop a 7 if you can hear. So I don't know if y'all heard that. Hopefully y'all heard that. Okay, no audio. All right, so I'll break this down for you then. So as you see in the title, it says the U.S. Army Psychic Intelligence Stargate Project. So remember, they're dropping a Stargate project, right? Trump announced that they're doing a Stargate project. The original Stargate project, what it was they basically the original Stargate project was remote viewing, right? What is remote viewing? Remote viewing is when you could see, right? Remote viewing is you could see remotely, right? Meaning if I want to look and see what's going on in Tennessee, right? I could go meditate or just in my mind go into stillness and see what's going on with somebody in Tennessee, right? I can see exactly what they're doing, right? If they're ironing their clothes, if they're eating, if they're on the toilet, right? What remote viewing is. And I could be specific. Now, there's more videos about this on YouTube. You can look out independently to see that remote viewing is very real. There's also declassified documents that'll show you that remote viewing is very real. This is not conspiracy theory stuff, right? This is actually a real Project Stargate, where they were doing remote viewing. And this remote viewing was surveillance, right? It was being able to surveil people in China, people in Russia. It was used for military application, right? And the military had people doing remote viewing. So that's what Project Stargate, the first iteration of Project Stargate, was. This new iteration of Project Stargate is now them being able to track you via these hokey pokies, right? That's why they said they're coming out with this mRNA vaccine that could, I said the word, but they're coming out with that mRNA thing that could help fight cancer, right? That could get rid of cancer. So what do you think is going to happen when they're saying they got a vaccine that could cure cancer? If you think people wasn't lining up to get the hokey pokey for the CV-19, what do you think people are going to do when they hear that this thing could actually fight cancer, right? Even though the CV-19 thing, they've already come out with new news stories showing how the hokey pokey has caused myocarditis, right? Caused people to have heart attacks. People are dying left and right, right? But this is what most people are going to do because most people, unfortunately, are sheep, right? They're just going to go along with the program. But you who are watching this, now you have information. Now you're able to see and you're able to make a decision and you're able to plan this winter before the spring comes. Because when the spring comes, this shit's going to turn up. When summer comes, this shit is going to turn up, right? It just is what it is. And I'm just preparing you so that you could use this time wisely, right? Don't do the most, but go within, right? Go within, because that is also how remote viewing happens, right? It's people that learn these techniques. And if you really want to learn remote viewing, you can learn remote viewing, right? There's a video, I believe, on Amazon Prime that where the head of remote viewing talks about it. And there's videos on YouTube. In fact, another one of these videos that's up here, this one right here, the U.S. Army Secret Paranormal Soldiers, goes a little bit more in depth about remote viewing and how it works and how the government used it. But again, the new Stargate is about monitoring you from the inside. All right. It's about monitoring you via AI, right? It's about monitoring you via the real ID. Okay. And also, if you don't believe the government's been monitoring you, right, and how this all ties in, right? This is February 3rd, 2004. All right. And I'm going somewhere with this. So follow me. All right. I'm going somewhere with this. February 3rd, 2024. So this is the Pentagon kills LifeLog project. All right. The Pentagon canceled this so-called LifeLog project, an ambitious effort to build a database tracking a person's entire existence. Okay. This is something that they were building, but stay with me because they still built it. Run by DARPA, the Defense Department's research arm, LifeLog aimed to gather in a single place just about everything an individual says, sees, or does. The phone calls made, which they're going to do with AI, the TV shows watched, which they're going to do with AI, the magazines read, the plane tickets bought, the emails sent and received. Out of this seemingly endless ocean of information, computer scientists would plot distinctive routes in the data, mapping relationships, memories, events, and experiences, right? So it says the Pentagon killed the LifeLog project. I want you to look at the date again, February 3rd, 2004. February 3rd, 2004. All right. Well, what happened the next day after they so-called killed the LifeLog project? Yes, Mark Zuckerberg launched Facebook on February 4th. Mark Zuckerberg launched Facebook on February 4th, 2004, from his Harvard dorm room. The site was originally called the Facebook, aka the LifeLog, aka the LifeLog, and was initially only available to Harvard students, right? So they put out a whole propaganda movie. They put out a whole movie full of propaganda, right? I forgot the name of the movie. That so-called Mark Zuckerberg started, but he was already an asset. You see, this LifeLog thing was already in place. There's no such thing as coincidence, only confirmation. So February 3rd, the LifeLog project, where they want to track everything, is canceled. The next day, Facebook's launch. What a coincidence. What a coincidence, right? So these things gather all your data, right? You post on there, you have share your moods, you share your beefs, you share your ups and downs. I've even seen people have sex in Facebook groups, right? You know, people are sharing all type of things, right? What they eat, where they go, what they like, what they dislike, right? Where they're able to, and I've said this even on my own Facebook page, it's one of my pinned posts, is that one day in the year 2099, your grandkids will be able to see who you were based on the things that you post. And they'll be able to compile, right, a whole composite of you based on the things that you post, based on the things that you share, right? So if you was out here shaking ass and thotting, right, and that's all you posted, they gonna know great great grandma was out here thotting, right? If you was out here drilling and saying foolishness on the internet, right? And you was out here beefing with women all day and manosphering all day, your great great grandkids will know. Great great granddad wasn't shit. That's all he was sharing on the internet because they'll have a composite based on who you are and what you share and your interests, right? Everything is being recorded. Everything's being recorded. So if you're on one of these apps, YouTube, Facebook, all this stuff is being recorded. So it's very important what you put out into the universe, right? Because again, this is a lifelong project that's disguised as Facebook. So again, people aren't boycotting Meta and Instagram because it's too addictive. All right. And people are making money on them, right? People ain't making money at Target, so it's an easy target to boycott. Don't fall for the hypocrisy, folks. So, and also, right, just some more information, right? And we're going to get into more 2025 stuff. Don't you worry, but we got to understand to understand, or I to understand where we were to understand where we're going. Google's True Origin Party lies in CIA and NSA research grants for mass surveillance. All right. The intelligence community in Silicon Valley have a long history. All right. Do you know that there is a road, right? There's a road called El Camino Road. All right. There's a road called, I'm sorry, El Camino Real, right? In Sunnyvale, California. This is where it was created, right? So it's in Sunnyvale, California, Mountain View, Menlo Park, Palo Alto, right? The internet and AI that developed in the 1990s, right, were created. So El Camino Real is a real street, and it's a mere 10-minute drive from Google headquarters. So how is El Camino Real in the Terminator and also in Sunnydale, California, but also not only in the movie, but in real life in Sunnydale, California, and 10 minutes away from Google's headquarters? Something to think about, folks. All right. Now, Trump just started this thing with tariffs. I'm actually going to skip that. I'm actually going to skip this. I'm going to skip this because that's something you could put. But you meant, so a lot of people may be saying, well, you know, you guys voted. You guys voted for him. You guys voted for Orange Man. You guys voted for Orange Man bad. But the other side is no better. The other side is no better. The other side is no better, right? Biden declares equal rights amendment U.S. law, even though it is not. All right. So he declared equal rights amendment U.S. law, even though it is not. This is before he left the presidency. And the way he stated it was like, this is the truth. All right. President Biden called the U.S. President Joe Biden called the Equal Rights Amendment the law of the land on Friday, back in an effort to enshrine the change into the U.S. Constitution, even though it long ago failed to secure the approval of enough states' amendment. Sleepy Joe, why you lying to the people? Why you capping, Joe? All right. Why are you trying to tell people that there is the Equal Rights Amendment or the Equal Rights Amendment is the law of the land now. It's the 28th Amendment to the Constitution now. But that's not true. That's not true. The real amendment, what was really happening, and also, excuse me, be the same lie, right? On the way out in office. So if you think that the boys' bathroom, I don't know why it's taking forever to load, but if you think, here it is. All right. Tampons in the boys' bathroom and having your children learn about transgenders and this war in Ukraine and sending all this money to Ukraine and having all these immigrants come in and take all the shelters from poor people and get all this money so the Democrats could voter base. Because that's what they're doing. They're trying to build a vote base. Is like the right thing to do, right? Even though they're lying to you. The Equal Rights Amendment is the 28th Amendment and the law of the land, right? But it's not true. All right? It's not the truth. And we want to stand on truth. We don't want to stand on BS, or we're no different than the other side. It says, and there's a whole statement, right? Read that added context. There is no 28th Amendment. The president does not have. Sorry about that, y'all. All right, we're back though. Yeah, I want to stop windows. I think I had too many windows open. So just give me 1 second. I want to close some more of these. I think it was slowing down the page. Some of the stuff we already went over. And we'll continue keeping it moving. If you are here, definitely hit that like button. Appreciate it very, very much. If you appreciate this information, all right, that I'm bringing to you. Obviously, this takes a lot of time to source, right? And and put together. All right, I think we're good now. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So let me share this. A lot of people left. All right, they're gonna miss out. But let's go into. Let's go into this. All right, yeah, it's moving better now. I have to delete some. Things. All right. Let's share this. All right, so here we go. So this says the subjects in, now remember the beginning of the year, right? I'm just make sure y'all can see this. All right, perfect. So the beginning of the year, remember, right? We had on the first day of the year, right? We had two attacks, right? We had the in Las Vegas where we had the bombing, right, with the Cybertruck where it blew up, right? And we had the attack on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, okay? So it says the subjects in yesterday's attack on Bourbon Street in New Orleans and Trump Tower in Las Vegas both served at Fort Bragg, the same military base Ryan Ruth visited over 100 times before attempting to take Donald Trump's life. So that is the shooter, you know. Things move so fast that sometimes we forget that, you know, that whether it was fake, staged, or whatever, that there was an attempt on Donald Trump's life, right? Me personally, I think it was staged, you know what I'm saying? But some people may think differently, right? But anyway, these three were all connected to this military base at Fort Bragg. What's so interesting about this base is, you know, it says the Cybertruck bomber was found with a gunshot wound to his head. Fort Bragg, like the New Orleans driver, both connected, rented from Turo, like the New Orleans driver did, same day as the New Orleans attack, Green Beret military bomb expert, yet he used amateur explosives. Did someone put his corpse in the car? Remember, the car is fully self-driving. Remember, this is what happened the first day of the year, right? Project MK Ultra. This is not a conspiracy theory, right? You can look this up. Project MK Ultra or Project Monarch, all right? The CIA's program of research and behavioral modification, okay? And there's some proof right here, all right, which you could check out on Raspberry Raw's page. Jeffrey McDonald in the 1974 Bragg murders. Just to expound on this, this is basically this guy went crazy on Fort Bragg and started murdering people, right? And came out of it, right? And there's a movie with Denzel called The Manchurian Candidate, because they have to tell you what they're doing, right? So Manchurian Candidate with Denzel Washington was basically them telling you how they use these particular drugs and how they experiment on these soldiers and use these implants and things like that to control them, right? To turn them into agents of the Matrix, all right? The Fort Bragg murders. At least 44 Fort Bragg soldiers died statewide in 2020. 7 of them were homicides. Families want answers, but the Army isn't giving any. All right. These kids are dying inside the overdose crisis sweeping Fort Bragg. Okay. So there's no coincidence, right? Only confirmation that these two people were related and they knew exactly what was going on. All right. So you're going to see this type of thing, unfortunately, happening during the year. Now, remember, America is not known to have things like this, right? These are things that happen in other countries. Suicide bombers, you know, people blowing themselves up, right? That's something that happens in Muslim countries a lot, where people just go out and blow themselves up for a lot, and the 100 virgins waiting for them in the afterlife, right? But this is not something that happens here in America. Well, with Trump happening and all these things that's going to happen, prices going up, right? Things are going to change. And I'm not saying this to scare you, right? Because if you are spiritually prepared, right, none of this stuff will affect you. Your electromagnetic field will be so strong that it'll repel you from all this stuff. And this is why this is the year of the snake, which we're getting into. But we got to know what's going on so we can know where we're going, right? That's why I'm bringing this stuff up. Not to scare you, to prepare you, all right? So the Starship X spaceship rocket explodes during test flight. All right, remember that happened just a little while ago, right? 10 days ago, January 17th. Starship broke up during the test flight of the mega rocket's capabilities Thursday. Okay, so the SpaceX rocket exploded, and this is what it looked like. Oh well, the video's not popping up, but there was a video on here. But basically, there's a video that shows it. Yeah, I don't know why the video is not here anymore. But there's a video that shows it exactly exploding and what it looked like exploding, right? But again, fire is a theme of this year. Fire, explosions, right? all the themes of Kundalini rising or Phoenix energy or an awakening of the chakras, right? Or energetic liftoff, right? So another reason, so that's one of the reasons why this rocket exploded. Also, there was an explosion, right? Which Elon Musk didn't want to take credit for, but literally right next to his Tesla factory, right? There was a battery fire at the Morse Landing power plant. Now, what he's saying is this wasn't Tesla, it had nothing to do with his plant. But ironically, his plant is right next door to this Morse Landing power plant. Okay. And this happened also in California. Last week, there was also another fire in California. All right. In a more, how do you say, isolated, not isolated, but more rural part of California where not a lot of people were. Okay. Now, that particular fire, I think that was where they were making way for the Olympics. Not the people in Palisades. I think the people in Palisades, that was some natural event. All right. I don't think that had anything to do with the HARP or secret society or conspiracies. Maybe somebody set in the fire, but I think there was a lot more at play. One thing's for sure, two things for certain, right? Cowards stick together. Cowards all my life have stuck together. Cowards all my life have ganged up. Cowards all my life have picked to stick together in organizations. Now, I'm not really talking about women more per se, but in some cases I am, but I'm more so talking about men, right? Men usually join gangs when they feel powerless, right? When they feel like they can't handle you one-on-one, they join gangs, they join groups, right? They get together in these societies, right? To click up, to gain a sense of power. In my personal opinion, a real man is a person who can stand on his own too, even if he goes against whoever he has to go against. He stand up and be able to defend himself. And lo and behold, people will come and they'll see that in you and they will help you. Right. And I've had situations like that happen to me where I've stood on my own too. And strangers have helped me because people know I'm going to stand on my own too. I'm not going to group up. And this is in a hideous situation such as prison. Right. I'll share that story one day. Right. But anyway, let's continue. So there's a lot about Elon Musk this year that is very uh, coincidental, right? As I always say, there's no such thing as coincidence, only confirmation. Elon Musk's birthday, June 28, 1971. All right. Now, if you look at the month of June, right? You may say like what does that have to do with anything, right? Uh, so you have 7, 8. So you have 9, 10, 7, 8, right? So 10 plus 8 is 18. 8 plus 1 is 9. All right. Now his date is the 28th. So obviously that doesn't add up to 9. But his year of him being born adds up to 9. And June, right, has to do with the goddess Juno. All right. Juno, the Roman queen of heaven. So this is, and America is Rome. America is an offshoot of Greece, and Rome is an offshoot of Greece, right? So, sorry, America is an offshoot of Rome, and Rome is an offshoot of Greece, right? So these Roman goddesses are really Greek goddesses, which are really Kemetic or Egyptian goddesses, right? Just remixes, right? Again, this is the carbon copy of our original math, our original spiritual technology, our original science that they've pilfered, remixed, and given it back to you as their being the all-knowing. No, you are the all-knowing. You just have to know who you are. But Juno, the Roman queen of heaven, right? So this all aligns with him and this year being a very pivotal year for Elon Musk. Now, Elon Musk, yesterday, he went to the far right. There's an election coming up in Germany, right? You all know Germany's the home of the Hershey's, right? The Hashis, right? And with him going there, right, he just did a whole, the whole salute, right? And him being with the Hashis, right? He basically told the people on Saturday, like, look, embrace your roots, right? Embrace where you come from. Embrace that you have this history, right? With this sinister man that was using the swastika, right? Embrace it. Like, don't hide from it. Don't feel guilt, right? So we try to say that this wasn't him, right? But that is him. Remember, Elon Musk comes from South Africa, one of the homes of apartheid, right? His father owned an emerald mine. That's how he became rich, right? Elon Musk is not self-made. His father was already a multimillionaire, right? That owned the emerald mine in South Africa. I'm sure his people weren't working that emerald mine. I'm 100% sure. All right. So this is a very pivotal year for him. And again, I think that his marriage with him and Trump is not going to last the whole year. We'll watch it and see. Okay. But again, like I showed you earlier, he's already causing beef. So let's look at some of the signs and symbols of 2025. Now that we see what's going on, now that we see what the agenda is, let's look at how we could use these deities and this mythology to our benefit so we could get in tune, get on point, and become the gods and goddesses that we are so we can respond to these things with great power, not great weakness, not great fear, not great worry, but great determination, right? Great manifestation and great will, right? And courage. So this year is the 9 year. As you see, look on this card, it is the Hermit card, all right? So the Hermit, upright, soul searching, meditation, 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 guidance, communion with nature, solitude, contemplation. I'll add stillness to that, all right? Solitude, contemplation, nature. One of the aspects of the Hermit that I want to highlight is during these times, there's a lot going on in the news. There's a lot going on in the news, all right? Here and overseas, there's a lot happening on a day-to-day basis. You have to be very conscious that you're taking time for silence, that you're taking time for stillness, right? And you don't have to do it in total silence, right? I highly recommend you listen to some classical music for at least an hour a day, at least, especially if you don't meditate. If you're not going to listen to classical music, listen to some African drums, listen to some flute music, listen to something that puts you in some type of rest, right? That puts you in a rest and digest, that taps into your parasympathetic nervous system. Right now, it is the winter. All this snow happening, people are inside, all right? There's a reason for that. Just because the devil is trying to do what they do, right? It's always going to backfire because at the end, if you read all the stories of spirituality, we win, all right? And we'll win for a time, just like in the Matrix, and then things will recycle again. Again, this planet is made for lessons, right? It is made for lessons, and there's a time for everyone. There's a time for everyone to shine. All cultures have had their time in the sun. The latest culture is just happens to be the Caucasians culture, right? And their time in the sun is waning. That's why all this far right stuff is propagating, right? Because they're trying to hardline it. But the people are going to rebel against this. But you need to have time for stillness so you could think, so you could plan, so you could contemplate, so you could get your crown loaves, right? In the stillness, so you could get your enlightenment, right? Enlightenment. It's not going to come from you reading all the stories, from you watching all the YouTube videos, from you sharing all the conspiracies in the world and what they're going to do next. That's not going to help you. What's going to help you is knowing thyself and awakening your spiritual powers. And the pressure of 2025 and beyond is going to force people because pressure creates pressure on a coal, right? It creates a diamond, right? You got to crush that coal to create a diamond. And right now, we here in America have been very comfortable being tucked under the arm, right, of America, the corporation called America. And we got to wake up. And this is going to be an awakening. It's going to be hard to do all this twerking when shit is going down, right? It's going to be hard to be doing all this drilling when shit is going down, right? It's going to be hard to do all this gender warring when real shit is going down. So I recommend taking time for stillness, jazz, again, African drumming, classical music, flute music, shit. Somebody saying chants, right? Mantras, things like that. Even the mantras, like try to even not use that as just your silent time. You want something where your thoughts come online, your higher intelligence comes online, your ideas come online. And that's music without words, right? What is it? The Stevie Wonder, right? The Secret Lives of Trees, right? Um, Andre 3000, the flute music, right? Things that allow you to just think, right? And this way you could purge your mind of the negativity. You could purge your mind when you'll be able to see certain thoughts pop up in your head. You'll be able to see you thinking about the past, this person who broke your heart, this person who hurt you, this person who did you dirty, this bad event that happened, this, situation that was unfavorable for you. And you'll be able to now reprogram them with new ideas, with new thoughts, with new information. So the hermit, the number 9, 2025 equals 9, represents light work, nonconformity, and spiritual awakening. The lamp, the guiding light of wisdom, illuminates the hermit's next steps as he slowly walks the path of spiritual understanding. Although he remains aware of his surroundings, the hermit's gaze is turned inward. As you see, he has the cloak on, right? And he's looking down, he's looking within, right? Even though he has the light, right? He's looking down. The staff is a symbol of guidance and represents an axis connecting God and man, all right? Also, to me, it represents being grounded, even though you're going within, still being grounded, still being practical. A lot of people have their eyes on Bigfoot, the fairy kingdom, and, uh, shit in the sea and the aliens and all that. It's cool, whatever, right? But is it helping you? Is it helping you in real time? That's my only thing. Is it helping you achieve your goals and reach higher levels of understanding and extrasensory abilities, psychic abilities, clairvoyant abilities? Is it allowing you to connect and manifest the things that you want to see in your life by you knowing about the fairy kingdom? That's me though. You know what I'm saying? Like many teachers of great wisdom, the hermit is dressed in plain clothing and is unremarkable in appearance. The blue gray color of the sky is associated with ideas of introspection and freedom from attachment. One of the things with freedom from attachment is that's a crown chakra thing, right? That's what they say in Ifa, the Ori, right? It's when your Ori is lit up, right? You see the Christ with that halo over the head, right? That's that halo awakening, right? That's what they call the colostrum, right? The colostrum that secretes the chisholm oil, right, in your brain when the moon, when the sun is in your I'm sorry, when the moon is in your sun sign, right? That's you being able to gather that information from within your soul, right? That introspection is freedom from attachment. This means that your heart is light as a feather. That means if whatever goes down the block from you, whatever goes down in Palestine, whatever goes down in Africa, whatever goes down in South America, whatever Trump's doing next, you are not attached to those things. The only thing you are attached to is your own enlightenment and your perspective towards what is going on, how you see things. It's not what happens to you, it is how you react to it. And this is a tough thing because we are attached to different things, material things, right? We all want to be safe materially. We all want to have a house and our car and be comfortable financially and make sure our children are great. But I have to say, real spiritual enlightenment is knowing that all these things are temporary. All these things could go with a comet hitting the planet right now. All these things could go with a certain hurricane or tornado or a sinkhole opening up from where you live. I'm not wishing this things on anybody, but I am telling you the reality of things that have occurred to people. Mudslides have tore people's homes up. We just look at what just happened in California. They didn't expect that to happen. They thought their materialism, right? They were attached to their materialism to keep them safe. But you're not safe unless you are tapping into your inner light. And this is what this year is about, in particular, this time of the winter, when your parasympathetic, your rest and digest, is at its peak. This is the time to start doing your research. This is the time to start doing your readings. This is the time to start doing your shadow work. This is the time to start putting positive energy behind the negative things that have happened to you and reframe them in your imagination. I know it's hard. These things happen in reality, but reality is subjective. What I feel about, for instance, I always use this example, right? I always use this example. I had a dog, right? Um I got jumped by a dog, right, when I was younger. And this is what happened. I was walking down the street, right? I'm a little kid coming from school, right? And I probably was like 8, 9 or something like that, coming from school, and I'm messing with this dog behind the gate, right? Uh, behind the gate, right? I'm messing with this dog, so I little kid stuff, right? And I walk, I mess with it and I walk. This dog jumped the fence. This dog jumped the fence and started running after me, right? So I had to run on top of a car, right? And thankfully, the person who owned the dog, right, saw that the dog left and came out because I probably was screaming. And but that dog was about to hop on the car and come after my ass too, right? So for years, I had dog trauma. I didn't want to be around dogs. I didn't want to touch dogs. When a dog would come around, I would go into fight or flight, right? I would tense up, I would freeze up, right? I was deathly scared of dogs, right? What I had to do was go into my meditations, go into stillness, go into silence, and I had to visualize myself petting a dog. I had to visualize myself hugging dogs. I had to visualize myself around packs of dogs. Initially, during the meditation, did I feel the same things? Yes, because there's an imprint on your nervous system when trauma happens, right? The nervous system is your tree of life. The nervous system is the tree of life in the Bible, by the way. That's why the snake, right, met Eve, which represents the inner self, right, which represents the feminine nature, the internal self, the soul self, right? So the nervous system is that tree of life, right? That's why the temptation came to Eve, not Adam. So when this thing happened with this dog, I had to reprogram my idea of how I saw this dog, or else this dog, me being haunted by this dog, was going to happen forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever, right? So the quick preparation, if you're not going to meditate, I recommend you do, but if you're not, at least find an hour a day, no TV, no YouTube, no reading, no whatever, right? Because most of the time, what people do during the day, and I used to do it, I used to be guilty of it, right? We go through the whole day, we listen to music, we're at work, we listen to people, we're doing our businesses, we're, reading stuff, putting stuff together, right? We're talking to people on the phone, right? We go through the whole day with stimuli, stimuli. Now we're scrolling through social media in the morning, afternoon, evening, stimuli, 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 overstimulated, right? We're watching the news, some people morning and night, right? Stimuli, stimuli, stimuli. And the only time they get any type of silence is when they go to bed. But guess what? When you go to bed, your brain is still recording, right? So all that stuff that you programmed yourself with during the day is now coming into your dreamscape. And if I don't know if you've noticed, but I've noticed the things that you've been thinking about during the day, the things that you've been going to bed with have been hitting my dreams, and they will hit your dreams as well. And some of these things that pop up are traumas and stresses and things like that. And these are things that you need to reprogram in moments of stillness and silence. And that's what this hermit card or the 9 year is all about. All right. So this is a freedom from attachment. This is what makes your heart as light as a feather, to know that, yes, these things happen. Yes, you're going through these things, but to find peace and joy amidst it all, because that is your true nature. All right. Your true nature is a peace that nothing can disturb, but you have to cultivate like that. It's not just going to come out of nowhere. It's not just going to come, you know what I'm saying? Because
the melanin is midi-chlorians and shit.
That's not enough, right? It's not enough to just have melanin or whatever, right? Or be from whatever culture, or say I'm part of this group or I'm part of this organization. No, right? If Jesus is not coming, can come to save you, he's not coming. You got to save yourself. All right. Nibiru is not coming to save you. The aliens are not coming to save you. Nobody with sandals and feet of bronze and wool hair is coming down to save you. No black leader, Hispanic leader, white leader, Asian leader, green leader, purple leader, blue leader is coming to save you. You have to save yourself. And as you save yourself, then you bring value to your group, your tribe, your community, your neighborhood, and most importantly, your family. It says the hermit has patiently put one foot in front of the other in order to reach the top of the mountain. He holds his light up as a beacon of inspiration and hope to the world below. All right. So this is the goal. All right. And this is what 2025 was all about. The reversed, reclusiveness, lowliness, fearful, concealment, resisting your spiritual path. Now, this is what we saw, right? When this whole thing with Trump, look how much fear was out in social media. How many people were scared to death. If you're new here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. All right. If you like the information. But look how many people were scared to death. All the fear that was on social media. But Trump was already in 2017 and you survived. You survived those 4 years, right? Oh, he's coming back. It's going to be worse. Well, have you not been better since 2017? Have you improved since 2017? Are you trying to improve since 2017? See, this is the honest, hard questions we have to ask ourselves. Because in 2025, nothing's going to be the same. If you try to make everything the same as it's been, you're going to have a hard year. 2028, a lot of us went through lessons to prepare ourselves for 2025. And if we did not go back and learn from those lessons, i.e., in times of stillness, when these things come up, and reprogram to our benefit, then we're going to repeat the same lesson. And yeah, you're going to be scared when Trump makes a move. Yeah, you're going to be scared when they announce certain tariffs and things like that. Yeah, you're going to be nervous, right? Because that is your frame of reference. You haven't taken time to conquer any fears. I know people who 40, 50 still got the same fears that they had from when they were kids. Still scared of rats, still scared of animals, still scared of the grass. Some people scared of sitting on grass because of ants and stuff like that, right? Still fearful of their parents' opinion, of their parents' approval. These are fears that we have to take the time right now while it's the winter to prepare us for spring, so that we could be courageous enough when we see things shift and when we see these different parts of America fall, because America is falling, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wish I had better news. I wish I had better news to give you. But it's happening. It's happening before your eyes. So what are you going to do? You're going to be powerful or you're going to be a pussy? Those are only two choices. And the science is telling you that the way to get there is to cultivate your inner self. All right. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know how else to tell you. You know what I'm saying? You can watch me for entertainment, or you could get off your ass and do something about it, so that you're ready and you're able to help and be the guiding light of your family, whether you're a man or a woman, right? because leadership is not exclusive to masculinity, nor is it exclusive to femininity, right? All of us have the ability to tap into the divine within, but you got to tap into the divine within, which means it takes work. Let's continue. So the 9 year, right? We're talking about, let me blow this up. We're talking about snakes, right? The 2025 is the year of the snakes in Chinese astrology, right? Or the year of the serpent. And we're going to be looking at this also, right, as it kicks off on the 29th, which is also a full moon and no, new moon in Aquarius, right? And Aquarius is interesting because it's an air sign. We'll get there in another time. But what I want to focus on is this particular energy of the caduceus, right? This is all the rod of Asclepius, right? Which are both snakes. And this is also corresponding to the energy of the hermit, right? The energy of enlightenment, right? Of the opening up of the chakras. In Hindu mythology or Hindu spiritual science, right? They have the Ida and Pingala, right? The Ida being the masculine, the Pingala, or the Ida being the feminine, and the Pingala being the masculine energies, right? Coming together. This is what this represents. And the middle being the spine or the Sushumna, right? Rising up. This is energy that's rising up from the sacral chakra, all right? The root chakra is the feet. This is the energy rising up from the sacral chakra or the sacrum, going up into the brain. This is something that has to be cultivated, though. It's not going to happen just from meditating one time. It's not going to happen from you being at your altar. It's not going to happen from you reading a whole bunch of books. It's not going to happen from you watching a whole bunch of TikToks. It's not going to happen from you watching a whole bunch of whatever movies and decoding them, right? That's not going to make you the most high self that you could be, the son of man, right? The light of the world. What you have to do is cultivate this particular energy, right? And particularly through the gut. The gut is the source of courage. The gut is the source of power. The gut is what provides 90% of the serotonin that goes into your brain. Serotonin is the hormone that provides you happiness. It provides you joy. It also is the source of a lot of your dopamine. All right. So dopamine doesn't just come from the brain. Dopamine also comes from the gut. And that dopamine, L-dopa, comes from what they call the substantia nigra part of your brain, or the black substance, the dark substance, right? And when something's dope, right, which those of us that are melanated will be using the word dope forever. Something good, right? Something that makes you feel good, something that makes you happy, right? So this is why it's very important to take those traumas and take those uh, hardships and reframe them in your imagination to where you're favorable. You could be the winner in whatever story that happened in your past, right? You could reframe, and it's not to say that you're going to forget about what happened, but it is when it comes back up in your psyche, the energy is light as a feather, right? So you could have those wings for higher perception, for higher thought. Those things are not holding you down and weighing you down to this terrestrial world. This is why there's wings on the top. This is why this is the symbol of wellness in the medical field. The symbol of not wellness is dis-ease. You not being at ease, you being nervous, you being fearful, you being in fight or flight, you being in worry, you being, well, this happened in the past, I don't want this to happen again. Not you coming into the things with fresh perspectives and open-mindedness, right? You being stuck in what you know and only what you know, even if new information is presented to you, right? So the snake energy is ultimately that kundalini energy that is rising up within. All right. And there's also in Black Panther, all right, Hukula Khan, all right, also Quetzalcoatl. We saw this in Black Panther 2, where he came out of the water. This water represents the blood or the blood plasma that is within you. The body's made up of 75% water, especially water. So this is where the Kundalini energy or the Chi energy or the Ra energy is sourced up through the sacral, right? It is through your emotions, right? Feeling is the secret. So thoughts, right? Thoughts, ideas, information that you take in, which is your responsibility for what you take in, what you read, what you watch. It's nobody's responsibility but yours, right? These things produce emotions. So you think you're watching a conspiracy video with the aliens are doing this and you're from the Pleiadians and the Lemurians and the Diadeans and whatever comes, right? Or and you think you're being educated more, but all you're being is dumber, right? You think you're getting more education, but none of these things are helping you, right? Raise your vibration, raise your frequency, raise your level of focus, raise your level of awareness to where it has wings, where your perception is enhanced, where you're thinking of you being the best version of you, you getting business ideas, you being more creative, you having better connections with people, you being the type of person other people want to be around, right? There's a lot of people that know all these things on the internet, but are really pieces of shit in real life. Again, I've been scammed by people that were on the internet, very popular, right? A lot of crystals, a lot of dashikis, totally scammed. So this energy of Kukulkan or Namor coming from the waters is a symbolic representation of your Kundalini energy rising in the waters within or in the bloodline, or you unlocking your quote unquote junk DNA so that your ancestors, which you want to call on not just your ancestors, but your righteous ancestors, start to speak through you. All right, let's keep going. So there's 9 systems of the human body: respiratory system, nervous system, muscular system, digestion, reproductive system, cardiovascular system, endocrine system, lymphatic system, and integumentary system. The integumentary system is the skin, right? This is like the skin and the nails and stuff like that. It's like what they call the first line of defense. You should know what all these other systems are, but these 9 systems also represent the 9 within you, and you developing these things so that they work for your benefit. Respiratory system, obviously breathing, right? Rest and digest and fight or flight, those are all things that correspond with the breath. When you're tense, when you're stressed, when you're fearful, your breath rises up, right? You start breathing at 18 breaths a minute and more when you're stressed, when you're fearful, right? Blood rushes from your brain down to your stomach and prepares you for fight or flight, right? And you start to tense up. So your IQ can lower from 60 to 70 points when that happens as well. So you're literally a dumb animal, right? Your nervous system, we just talked about, right? How things get imprinted on the nervous system. The muscular system, obviously, you want to be physically strong and pliable so that you're able to move and protect yourself. Digestion, this goes with diet, all right? What are you eating? What type of foods do you eat on a regular basis, right? They just did something where they have Popeyes, with Don Julio right before Black History Month. Coincidence? I think not, right? They obviously have an agenda, right? How many people are going to go out there for that Popeyes and Don Julio? And I still remember how y'all was acting for that chicken sandwich, all right? But right after that chicken sandwich, COVID hit. Reproductive system, all right? That is your sexual health, all right? Type of people you're sleeping with, all right? Are you going having raw sex with everybody? What type of people are you choosing, right? These things are important. Cardiovascular, again, your overall health. Are you moving, right? Kundalini energy is movement as well. Are you walking, right? Do you have an exercise bike? Are you going to the gym? Are you engaged in yoga, some sort of Pilates? Or are you just sitting on your ass all day, hoping that, one day when you get the surgery, everything will be okay. When after a while, you got to keep getting surgery over, which they don't tell you. You got to keep getting surgery over and over and over to maintain it, right? Because the surgery adjusts, breast surgery, ass surgery, right? All these surgeries, as your body changes, those things that happen adjust. Or would you rather take care of yourself while you're here so you can maximize this temple? It's not about physical aesthetics. It's about maximizing the energy in your temple. It's about raising your kundalini so that you could be prepared, you could be aware, right? And not be scared of anything, right? Endocrine system, that is where your this is your chakras, right? Endocrine system and your chakras, right? And your chakras correspond to different glands in your body. Lymphatic system, that is the lymph under the throat. You can say that's the throat chakra. How do you speak, right? How do you talk? You know, are you able to express yourself confidently? Are you able to express your thoughts confidently? You know, are you a shy person? Do you think you're a shy person, right? Because whatever you think your fixed personality is, it's not. You're everything, because everything is everything. I'm going to say it again. You're everything because everything is everything. So one verse, universe. So in your soul, you have the ability to access whatever you want spiritually, right? So the spirit is just a representation of the activity that you choose to tap into and utilize based on your soul's resonance or what you want your soul's resonance to be, right? And again, we talked about the skin, right? So be careful of what you put on your body, right? Don't put things on your body, like they say, don't put things on your body that you wouldn't put in your mouth, right? And I'll leave it at that. So those are the 9 systems. Let's continue. And we're getting into the stomach, right? The large and small intestine, all right? I talked about this already, how the gut, right, or having guts is important. Hold up. I see y'all can't see me. Y'all can't see what I'm showing y'all. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. All right, so yeah, the gut, right? Obviously, if you look at the large and small intestine, this looks like snakes. All right, this looks like 2 snakes. If you're doing any type of breathing and meditation, it comes from the gut. What do they say? Do you have guts, right? If you have heart, this person has guts, right? You know what I'm saying? It all starts in the gut. God is in the belly. So everything rises. If you're stuck in the lower 3 chakras, the solar plexus, the ego, the sacral chakra, just looking for sex and stimulation, if you're stuck in your, if you're stuck in your, hold up, y'all. This. Bear with me 1 second. So if you're stuck in the lower 3 chakras, right? You're concerned about root chakra safety and security, right? Running around like a chicken with your head cut off, not stable, not being able to stand on your square, easily influenced, easily moved, right? Easily led in the wrong direction, but hard to be led in the right. Poison animal eater, right? And the sacral chakra, again, sexual discipline, right? Discipline of your senses. One of the best things a man could do is practice semen retention, not just for the purpose of practicing semen retention, but just that he knows how to discipline his own body, right? Especially if you're a person who, which you should be, hopefully, still getting erections, right? Randomly. You should be able to discipline yourself and not run to a corn site, right? As soon as your penis gets hard, right? And that's a very tough thing to do. But if you train yourself over time, it'll be easy and nothing to do, right? And you should be able to go through these things 30 days, 60 days, things like that. Like put yourself through this trial. This is the time to do it during the winter months. This is the time to do it. This will cause your chi to rise. This will cause that energy to rise up in the body, right? You're a woman, you think you got to get D all the time, right? Well, maybe you need to take a D month off, take a D 2 months off, right? Refrain from relationships, refrain from being with somebody, and really self evaluate. This will also cause the chi to rise because now that sexual energy, that creative energy, has to go someplace, right? And it'll start to rise up into your imagination, into your inventiveness, into your creativity, into your crown loads, getting information, ideas, and aha moments, right? Into your throat chakra, where you're able to speak up, into your heart chakra, where you're connecting with people of like mind now, right? So the gut is where it all starts, all right? The gut is the source of all of this. Another serpent deity. This is Aida Wado. All right. Aida Wado is uh, the rainbow serpent. All right. This is also Dambala's wife, one of the chief deities in the Haitian Loa, right? Or the spirits, or you could say the Loa or the Orisha in Ifa, or the archangels in Christianity, right? Same thing, different objectives, so to speak, right? But when you eat food, right, your food is in different colors. So your food is a rainbow, right? You eat things that are brown, dark, green, yellow, purple, right? Etc. This is not just fruits and vegetables. This is, the lettuce, the tomato, and the burgers and the chicken and all that, right? All these things have different colors. So essentially, this is a representation of that particular energy of Aida Wado. And Dambala Wado is also the star, the father. Aida Wado is the feminine. So Dambala is the serpent, is the primordial life force. And what the science is that he created the universe using his 7,000 coils to form the cosmos. So it says, as he formed the world, he shed his serpent skin and created all the waters in the earth. All right. And the wife is Aida Wado, and usually they're depicted together because she assisted him in the process of creation. And the mythology is basically just about, masculine energy and feminine energy, right? AKA men are for Mars, women are for Venus, that type of thing, right? But like snakes, they embody the qualities of growth and positive change. So each snake sheds its skin and takes on a new identity. All right. So that is that science. You can look at their veves. The veves are basically spiritual technologies, so to speak, that spiritual technologies that allow you to tap into these primordial forces and utilize them to their benefits. And these are the energies of Dambala. As you see, there's a snake type of, right? Snake type of energy right here, right? Snake type of energy right there. So again, just to show you these things, when you see these things in movies or when you hear about these things, right? That you have a frame of reference to look at, but not only look at, develop within yourself. We've been taught since Christianity that snakes are bad and snakes are evil, right? Because they don't want us to know the truth, right? They don't want us to know about the powers that we have within. They want us to depend on Christendom, the church, right? The kingdom hall, the mosque, the father in Catholicism, right? They want you to focus on the preacher, the reverend, these people to be your saviors so that you can be controlled. And a good word never saved anybody, right? A good word never saved anybody. A book never saved anybody. In fact, from what I've seen, it's made people more judgmental and more self righteous and more in their ego than ever before, right? Less caring, less empathetic, right? Because you think that because they don't believe in what you believe, that they're going to hell, right? What's more separatist than that? What's more, I'll kill you for no reason other than that you don't believe other than me than that. This is what started the Crusades. People who believe in the other person is not a child of God or a divine being. Well, we know that's not the case because everything is everything. So there's also no, I'm gonna skip that. I'm gonna skip this. I'm gonna skip this. I'm not gonna skip this though. So this is, let me make sure y'all can see what I'm saying. All right. So this is also when you look at this particular energy of the 9 year, right? So this is a PEP, right? And if you look, obviously a PEP is by a tree. Huh. Where have you heard a story about a snake and a tree? Okay. And we could say the cat, right? The pussy cat represents I was gonna say something. We can say the cat represents feminine energy, right? It represents the energy of the soul, right? It represents the energy of primordial force, dark matter, dark mother, right? Mama universe, right? Also, cats in real life, they have the ability to see, right? Like, I think it's like some ridiculous amount, like 18 times better in the dark than humans, right? So they can see spirits and things that you can't see as a human naturally. This is why you see images of them always by the Egyptians. They always had cats, right? Or always had statues of cats. In fact, when they extracted a lot of the so-called mummies, right? Or the different in the Valley of the Dead extracted different sarcophaguses, they saw that they had a lot of cats that were mummified, right? And if you've been around cats, you know cats, they have their own identity, right? You can't tell a cat what to do or really walk a cat, right? Cats pretty much do their own thing for the most part. So anyway, this is a representation of the negative aspect of a snake. Now, what's the negative aspect of a snake? We all know what we call snakes, right? People that are cold, people that don't give a fuck, people that are quote unquote wicked, right? People that are backbiters, people that are deceptive, right? People that act one way, but in real life, they're another way, right? They're a snake, right? Backbiters, gossipers, people that talk about you and on your behind your back will say the wrong thing. The one thing about snakes that's very different than a cat is snakes don't have a limbic brain, meaning that they don't have an emotional connection to anything, right? What you're seeing right now is people that are rising up in the government that don't have an emotional connection to anything. What you're seeing is human snakes. Some of y'all call them shape shifting reptilians. Well, I would gather that they're not shape shifting anything. They're just reptilians, right? They're not going to pull their face down. You're going to see a snake. They're just walking snakes. They're operating in what they call the brain's R complex, which is the basic functions of survival, the basic functions of fear, the basic functions of aggression and hostility, right? Basic functions of ego. A snake that rises is mainly protecting its head. The body of a snake is vulnerable to attack, was mainly protecting its head. So this tree in this particular hieroglyph is again representation of that nervous system, all right, of the central nervous system. And the ability for it to be in fight or flight, which is what a PEP is, right? And this cat is representation of the sun god Ra, as it says on the bottom, in the form of the great cat slays the snake a PEP. So the snake is the negative aspect of Kundalini, right? When anger rises up, when fear rises up, when hate rises up, right? When worry rises up, when stress rises up, all the killers that rise up in your body and take hold of your body. But the light, right, of your perception, again, the light of your imagination, the light of no matter what happens, no matter what chaos comes around, you create order because it's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it is you with your light slaying a PEP, right? It's you going into rest and digest. It's you, okay, I got this situation. Let me sit down, right? You see, this cat is in a seated position. Let me sit down and relax. Let me think these things out. Let me turn off all the distractions and really look at what's going on and see, hey, can I solve this problem? If I can't solve this problem, how can I find a way to be at peace? If I can't find a way to be at peace, then how can I find ways to laugh, ways to be joyful, ways to think that this too will pass? How can I refer back to what happened in the past and the things that I've already overcome so I could calm my nervous system and go into rest and digest so I could tap into the parasympathetic or the paranormal part of me that'll now allow my electromagnetic field to expand and attract not what I'm focused on, which is the bad things that's happening, but I could focus on the good things that I want to see happen in the future by tapping into that in the here and now. Again, so I could use the light of the sun god Ra, the great cat, to slay my stress, my worry, my anxiety in the now, creating a future in the now of what I want to see January, February, March, up until spring, so I could see what I want to see in the spring. What I'm doing personally now is I'm preparing for the spring and the summer. The visions that I have for the spring and the summer. This is just a training for me right now, right? It's cold outside. Yeah, I'm not even this month. I'm not even going to the gym. I got my little exercise bike here that I'm hitting, but I'm not even going to the gym until February. This month is all about study, going within, right? Shadow work, things like that, right? Studying the spiritual sciences. I would recommend you do the same. Let's also, so we'll skip that. So in numerology and astrology, the number 9 is associated with the planet Mars. All right. Mars is often linked to qualities like ambition, passion, and energy, which are reflected in the meaning of the number 9. All right. Mars is the ruling planet of the zodiac sign Aries, and in some interpretation, Scorpio. People who are influenced by the number 9 and Mars are often seen as confident, independent, and action oriented, right? So boycotting Target is not going to do it, right? What actions are you really taking, right? Are you really going to support your brothers and sisters, right? And your brothers and sisters don't have to be people that look like you, right? It's not about color, it's about a tribe, it's about a vibe. Go back to 2020. There were people of all different colors that didn't want to take the hokey pokey, that were aligned in not taking the hokey pokey, right? That were aligned in being banned from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and all these other platforms, but refuse to talk about the hokey pokey in a negative fashion. All right. Are you confident? Where is your confidence lie? Right. This is things you have to look at within yourself and work on. Right. Your confidence is built by you doing things that you say you're going to do. You keeping your word unto yourself. That's how confidence is built. If you say you're going to do something, you're going to do this, do it. If you say you're going to stop doing something, do it. Right. And if you fall off the wagon, so to speak, don't beat yourself up. Okay, you fell off the wagon that day. Tomorrow's a new day. Get back on the wagon and start a new 30 days, start a new 7 days, start a new 20 days, start a new 1 day, 2 day, 3 day fast. Independent, right? Independent doesn't mean that you don't need people, because everybody needs somebody, but it does mean that you can handle your own, that you can stand on your own square, that you don't need a preacher, a YouTuber, you're an influencer, a friend, a family member telling you what to do, right? For instance, I got a reading recently by somebody, and I was like talking about a plan that I had, and they meant well, but this is an older person, right? And they were kind of telling me that I can't do that it wouldn't work. And was like, first I was like, maybe it's not going to work, right? Because I saw that person as quote unquote an authority. But then I went to meditation that night, and my spirit was like, man, you're the authority. You're the God. If this is what you want to do, and if you think it's going to work, it's going to work. Keep planting that seed in your spirit. Keep planting that seed in your subconscious, and it's going to work out. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're fasting from certain things. You've been tapped in since 12/21. Why wouldn't these things work out for you? Right? Why wouldn't they work out if you're doing the things that you need to do to enhance yourself? So again, that's what independent is. It's that people are not going to sway you from what your purpose is, from what your goals are, from what you feel guided to, right? As long as it's not hurting anybody, right? Or causing harm to the world, right? These things that are your purpose, right? Or your purposes, right? So Mars is that warrior energy that's no matter what, right? Shout out to Puffy. Ain't nobody gonna hold me down. Well, maybe not shout out to Puffy, right? Also, we got the Nagas, right? Serpent-like deities that are depicted as cobras. All right. Also, in Egyptian, on the crowns of the pharaohs, you have the uraeus, which is also has a serpent, right, and a vulture. The vulture represents you tapping into your ancestors, you giving offering to your ancestors, which is also one of the things that they're going to be doing next Wednesday, the 29th. This is what the Asians communities do, right? And if you go to their stores here in New York, there's a lot of them. They always have a shrine to their ancestors, or they have that money cat right in there. And what they do is they exchange money. They'll have these red envelopes and they'll exchange money with each other. They'll give money to their children. They give money to each other, right? One of their greetings is, I hope you get money on a New Year's Day in their language, right? So so I say that to say that, well, anyway, the Nagas are serpent like deities that are often depicted as cobras. They are powerful, semi divine beings that are associated with fertility, cosmic balance, and the duality of creation and destruction, right? So, again, about rebirthing, new birth, right? Balance, right? Things being on an even plane. Right now, things are at a high imbalance. All right. That's easy. So, the universe has to bring things back to balance, even if it's going to take chaos to do it in order to bring order, right? You cannot stay in chaos, no matter what the European magicians told you or your black brethren told you, right? You have to bring order, excuse me, you have to bring order to chaos. Nobody wants a house or a life full of chaos, right? You have to bring order to chaos. And that's balance. So it says Naga can take the form of a human or partially human serpent or a whole serpent, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So, we use the word nigga, nigga, naga, naga, nigga, right? DNA upgrade. Also, another deity that corresponds to this 9 year of 2025 is Storm, all right? And Storm would be a representation of Oya, right? The goddess of storms, weather. We've seen the weather do some crazy things. Just this already January, baby. All right, it's only January. How Ralph Smart said, and we ain't even had breakfast yet. Hello, right? So we've seen storms happening already, right? In Kenya, the first day of the year, there was a fire. I believe not Kenya, sorry, Ghana, in one of their marketplaces, there was a big fire January 1st, destroyed the marketplace, right? We've seen the fires that happened in California. We've seen the cold, right? The icy weathers and things like that. Yeah, are there snow and all that. But yeah, the manipulations, yes. But we have to remember also everything that happens is happening for a reason and a purpose, because this whole life existence, the reason you're here in this day and time is for a purpose. And it is for you to grow into you being a God man or a God woman on earth, period. And if you don't know that, you're going to come back and recycle here again, get a Bible again, go to church, and when you die, your vibration will be so low that you'll be one of those spirits that's waiting outside of church. There's spirits right now that are lingering around churches all over the world, waiting for Jesus to come back, because that's what they believe. And eventually they'll be recycled through Saturn, go back through the rings of Saturn and come back here again as a child, because that's the way it works. You'll be in purgatory for a little while and you'll come back here again. But the purpose is to master non-attachment. So Storm is also a deity that deals with nature, right? Being one with nature, understanding natural law, right? Understanding how nature fits in. This deals with root work and things like that, right? Hoodoo and things like that, and all other forms of root work that are in elevated forms of mysticism or African spiritual esoteric technology, which I've coined as ASET, African spiritual esoteric technology. All right. Also, another snake. This is a snake on top of Ra's head. The snake on top of Ra's head, you may think they've said Ra, which is the moniker I've taken on, or the archetype I've taken on as Ra. The solar disk on the head is the electromagnetic field, not necessarily the sun. In Kemet, the sun is called Aten, Aten, right? Aten. is the sun. But this snake, or this Uraeus on top of Ra's head, this the deity Ra, is the sun's electromagnetic field, or the sun's energy, or the solar energy, as you see it as a snake. So this represents your inner solar energy, your inner fire, your inner phoenix, your inner chi rising up, right, to be a light of God here on earth. See, in Christianity, what they tell you is you have to follow Jesus. What the Bible says is Jesus wants you to be better than him. Do you not know you will do things greater than me? What the Bible tells you is you have to walk and become a Christ on earth. John 10:34. Do you not know that the temple of God is within you? Psalms 82:6. Do you not know that ye are gods? Right? This is all in the book. But Mark 4:11 also says that if you look at the book and does not, some paraphrasing, let me pull it up real quick. Mark 4:11. I'm just going to read it off. But it speaks of if you are looking at, matter of fact, I think I'll share it. Yeah, I'll share it. Hold up. So it says, this is Christ, right? According to the story, the mythology. It says, he told them, the secret of the kingdom of God has been given to you, right? But to those outside, everything is said in parables. So if you think that the things you read in the Bible, that Noah actually put every animal, even the animals that eat each other naturally, these animals that eat each other, how are you going to put a lion and a sheep and a gazelle in the same ark, son? It doesn't even make sense logically, right? How are you going to be like Jonah, right, and be stuck inside of a whale for the next, for 3 days, and not the stomach acids of the whale not kill you, right? People say, oh, this is God, right? God performs the miracles. Well, why hasn't it been duplicated in the last thousands of years of recorded history? Because these are parables. The stories of Christ is a parable. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are all zodiac signs, fixed zodiac signs. Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, and shit, what's the other one? Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, what's the other fixed sign? Shit. Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. If you know, put in the comments. I don't really feel like looking it up, but it's the fixed signs of the zodiac. Taurus. Thank you, Ultra Instinct. I appreciate it. So that's what the 4 main stories in the Bible are about. It's an astrology. That's it. That's all it is. So let's continue. So that's the science of Ra, right? The science of Ra is the science of the electromagnetic field, aka your aura, right? The energy that you naturally carry around, that is pumped out from the heart, right? That is generated via the vagus nerve, all right? And people say it's just the Kundalini, but the Kundalini has to go through the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is a nerve that is, let's close some of this stuff up. So the vagus nerve and the Kundalini, right? You can check this out, Wing Shu Publishing on Instagram, but this is a nerve, as you see right here, right? That literally goes from the sacral chakra, right? Not the root chakra. Root chakra is the feet. The sacral chakra all the way up, right, to the brain, right? This is the vagus nerve. And this is what puts you in rest and digest. And this is what awakens your Kundalini, right? When it goes up that particular part, not just the spine, but the actual vagus nerve. So let's go into a little bit more. We're almost done, I promise you. I promise. So Oya, Storm, Ra, we covered that. All right. And remember, this is a 9-year, all right? 9 men, okay? Formed a legendary group, Okay, the Wu-Tang Clan, right? The RZA, the Jizza, the Old Dirty Bastard, Inspector Deck, You God, um, Master Killer, right? That's six. I'm missing three. Anyway, you'll see them right here, right? We all know Wu-Tang Clan by now. So Wu-Tang Clan, right? 9 men, right, formed a group 1991, right? And they formed this group and they came together and influenced the world, right? Started all other copycats, duplicates, legendary group coming out of New York, right? 9 men forming one unit. 9 also represents the ninth planet, which is Pluto, right? Death, destruction, and transformation, another aspect of Scorpio. But let's see the influence that this group had. And this is how you create ripples in space time, right? By creating things, right? Now, RZA himself in the Tao of Wu, right? RZA, he explained how he created the Wu-Tang Clan. And what he used to do was he used to walk around Staten Island and he'd have these long hours, 2-hour walks. And during these walks, all he would do was think, moving his body, right? Generating his energy, right? Stirring his kundalini. Also in silence, right? He'd be walking around in silence. This is what he said in the book, right? I'm not creating this. You can read it for yourself. The Tao of Wu, right? Also Tao Te Ching, Tao Te Tu Te, Tao Te Tu Te, right? Again, they're not going to give us, our ancestors, the credit, but if you put it together, right? Tao Te Tu Te. But anyway, the Tao of Wu, RZA explained how he created the Wu. And again, moments of silence, right? Moments of reflection, in motion, right? Kundalini is energy in motion, emotion, right? And how are you projecting that emotion? Obviously, he projected it with a goal to get his people out of the hood, and it worked. And look at the influence that this had. Hopefully, y'all can hear this. If y'all can't hear this, drop a.
I think I just look the mountain. I try to just to have meditation to know exactly what I want exactly in my life. I say I love this martial art, and then I want to do it. So from this moment, I just hear like, okay, I have to give all my best just to succeed.
Y'all can hear?
We should make our body very strong. You have to know that you can succeed if you work very hard in your life. Kung Fu is not just like how to fight like this. It's philosophy of the life. And now,
so this is a prince, an African prince that was influenced by the Wu-Tang to create his own Shaolin temple. Can y'all hear? Y'all can hear? Okay, thanks. All right. Let me play it again. I don't know why this does sometimes.
I just look the mountain. I try to just to have meditation to know exactly what I want exactly in my life. I say I love this martial art, and then I want to do it. So from this moment, I just hear like, okay, I have to give all my best just to succeed.
This is the Mamba mentality, folks. 2024 was an 8-year. 8 was Kobe's number. Mamba mentality. Look back at those lessons.
We should make our body very strong. You have to know that you can succeed if you work very hard in your life. Kung Fu is not just like how to fight like this. It's philosophy of the life. And now the abbot say he see how we can try to open like some Shaolin branch in Africa.
对这个佛法的理解， 比一般人要好得多。所以我们也希望，像燕麦这么优秀的人才，能真正掌握少林的精神、少林的精髓，能把这传统的少林文化带到非洲去。
So he's trying to bring the culture of the Shaolin monks, where he was influenced by the Wu, to Africa, right? That's his main goal.
My village is Bafun.
All right, I'm gonna stop it because I don't want them to flag me for the music. But the outcome, I don't know why this is showing up twice. Let me just see. This is weird. All right, wait 1 second. So that was his goal, right? His goal was to share. His goal was to become the. His goal was to basically build the Shaolin Temple in Africa, right? And let's see what happened, right? So remember, 2020 was the scamdemic, right? But what he managed to accomplish was the Shaolin Temple of Lusamba, Zambia, is the only Shaolin temple in Africa. It was established in 2020 through a collaboration between the Songshan Shaolin Temple in China and Huan, a Chinese-ran company in Zambia. All right. The temple's goals include teaching Shaolin Kung Fu, promoting Chinese culture, helping people understand African culture, and strengthening China-African friendship. All right. So he achieved his goal based on an influence of 9 men in 2021. I mean, 9 men in 1991 creating the Wu-Tang Clan. And because of this, he was able to build a Shaolin temple in Africa. So that is Kundalini rising and Kundalini in full effect when you see what's created in the imagination being manifested in real life. So let's go into Pluto and Aquarius. And let's see what is happening. Let me just delete some of this old stuff so we can have a smoother connection. But Pluto and Aquarius, right, set off. Pluto in Aquarius started I'm looking at my notes. Pluto in Aquarius started on 11/29/2024. All right. I'm sorry, 11/19/29. 11/19/2024. All right. So Pluto went into Aquarius, and a lot of people did videos on it, right? But I think a lot of people forgot about that we're actually in time of Pluto in Aquarius. And it's a very, very important time for us to look at and really analyze and see what we're about to face, because this is a very revolutionary time, especially it being a snake year. Now it says Pluto in Aquarius is, let me just make sure y'all can see what I see. Do you see what I see? All right, y'all do. All right. So Pluto in Aquarius, let me just remove this, so Pluto in Aquarius is a time period of transformation and rebirth that affects every zodiac sign. It's a time of collective change that can impact technology, politics, and social media. So Pluto in Aquarius can encourage people to explore their boundaries and push themselves to live a more authentic life. So the light of God that is within you, that hermit, is really going to expose the true you. It's really going to bring forth who you really are, what you're really passionate about, if you do the work. All right. This period can welcome new perspectives and challenge limitations. People may be inspired to work together for collective activism, innovation, and freedom of thought. This year in particular, you're going to have to get outside and meet people, right? There's going to come a time, and let me say this, in my perspective, there's going to come a time where you're not going to be able to just be on social media talking all this spiritual talk and mystical talk, and you may be censored in some way. Put it like that, right? So you're going to have to meet people outside. You're going to have to go to events. You're going to have to network. And this means you're going to have to be a decent person. This means you're going to have to not be a snake. This means you're going to have to be, if you're going to be a snake, right, be a divine snake, right? Be a snake that understands the truth and wants to live truth, right? And be an example of, see, I've said this before, right? God doesn't need your worship. God doesn't need you to go to temple. God doesn't need you to go to church, right? The divine, the source, the spirit, they don't need your book reading, right? They don't need you reciting scripture. They don't need you reciting Quran verses. What the divine needs are vessels. What the divine needs are people that are going to embrace a Christ Buddha consciousness and walk as Christ Buddha consciousness. There's a lot of people that are not walking and living like that, right? Those are the 95%, right? Or the 85%, right? The blind, deaf, and dumb, poison animal eaters, slaves of a mental death and power who are easily led in the wrong direction, but hard to be led in the right. Those are the masses. Those are the asses. Those are the sheep. There's enough of them out there, right? There's enough of them out there. This is why Christ flipped the money tables, and this is why Christ didn't fuck with his church of his day. Never did. He hung around with the prostitutes, the robbers, the thieves, and his disciples, right? If anything, Jesus would be in the hood, right? Teaching people and resurrecting them. Similar to what Rizza did, right? If you can parallel him being a Christ figure with him resurrecting his people and bringing them into financial success, right? And bringing them into the rap game. Same thou, right? So you're going to have to get outside, right? This one. You're going to have to network with people in real life. Pluto, and you're going to have to heal some of these traumas and some of these biases that you have against women and that you have against men, and men aren't this and women aren't that, because it's going to come off in your connections with people. And it's going to block you from certain blessings. Letting go. Pluto and Aquarius can help people identify what they need to let go or move forward. All right. Again, this started 11/19/2024, right before the winter. Facing fears. People may encourage to face their fears and realize they aren't so scary. I've been talking about this the whole video, so I don't need to go deep into that. So let's go into the numbers that's associated with Aquarius, right? 7, 22, 4, 11, and 999. All right. Me, myself, I've been seeing a lot of 11s, a lot of 11s. And another funny thing that's been happening to me, I don't know if it's been happening to y'all, but I've been waking up like literally, and this is not with alarms or anything, literally on the dot of hours. Like today, I woke up this morning, 9 o'clock, 9:00, not 9:01, not 9:02, 9:00, right? There was another day, Friday, I woke up at 8:00, no alarm, just 8 o'clock a.m., right on the dot, right? Saturday, I woke up at 7:00, right on the dot, right? After I took my little nap. So look at these numbers, see if they pop up on you, and if they do, right? 7, or you don't even not just 7, right? But 9. Aquarius, quest for truth and knowledge, symbolizes introspection, hermit card, kundalini, chi, ra, prana, dambala, aida weda, right? The caducees, all these things we've been talking about, all these symbolisms, right? Represents all that, right? And again, we're about to have a new moon in Aquarius on the 29th, which corresponds to the Chinese New Year. So Pluto, all right? Pluto, transformation, power, death, rebirth, evolution, all the things of a snake shedding its skin, all the things that deal with transformation, which is what this year is about. Again, you can't come into this year like last year. You got to change something. You got to do something different. Only you know what that is. All right. Next is Aquarius. All right. Pluto and Aquarius. Aquarius is an air sign. All right. Ruled by Uranus, but really we want to focus on Saturn. Uranus is the new ruler. The old ruler is Saturn. Aquarius is an air sign. Intellect, individuality, eccentricity, communicative, humanitarian, right? So that means there's going to be a transformation, Pluto, of the intellect, of the way you think, right? Of your individuality and how you see it, right? Of your eccentricity, right? You being your true authentic self, right? That's going to be coming to play. Of you being communicative, right? How you speak about yourself, your heccup, your mantras, the way you talk, right? Do you big up yourself? Do you big up other people, right? How do you talk about other people, even people you don't know, aka celebrities and things like that, right? If somebody's down, do you crown people or do you clown people all the time, right? Are you the type of person that puts people down, or do you lift people up? Are you highly judgmental? All these things will come into play, and you'll see these things play out in your life, right? Humanitarian, of course. How are you connected to people, right? Again, everything is everything, right? We are all one, even your enemies, because your enemies are here to help you become your God self. There again, life is like a video game. So you have different enemies and different bosses that you have to conquer so that you could get more powers, so you could get more weapons, so you could hit the next board, and so on. And you keep building, beating different minor challenges till you get to major challenges, and you beat that major challenge, which is a boss level, right? And then you go to the next level, the next board. But you usually, well, not usually, all the time, you level up. You have more powers, you have more weapons, you have more skills, right? So life is the same with the video game. And if you can't pass the level and the bosses, then guess what? You die and regenerate and come back again to fight that level, right? But it's all about gaining wisdom on the path and learning from your mistakes and non-attachment, right? And this will allow you to be more humanitarian, right? This is not to say you let a snake bite you when you know they're a snake. Obviously, you want to get away from people that are harming you or causing you harm, right? That's not an Aquarius or Pluto ideal or a Mars ideal, right? But the ideal is to recognize these people, understand them, and understand that hurt people hurt people. And these are hurt people, right? Whether you want to have empathy for them or not, right? It's hurt people hurting people. And they are, some people, are, as I've said before, are just here to give you a hard time so that you could level up, so that you could beat that conquest, whether it's through magic or whether it's through your mindset. So let's look at what happened during Pluto in Aquarius during the last time. The last time Pluto entered Aquarius was from 1777 to 1798. And one of the things that happened was the American Revolution. All right. So the American Revolution is one of the things that happened last time Pluto was in Aquarius. So what was the American Revolution? The American Revolution was the Revolutionary War waged by the American colonies against Britain, influenced political ideas and revolutions around the globe. As a small fledgling nation, aka America, won its freedom from the greatest military force of all time. If you think with, because the prices are going to go up, right? Trump doing all these tariffs and stuff like that, prices are going to go up, right? Canada just today came out and said, look, if you put these tariffs on us, we already know how we're going to attack you. We already got plans in place. We know what we're going to do, right? And I saw one of the people in Canada was like, look, we're going to shut down the power, because apparently there's a power grid that powers like a wide part of America that's located in Canada. So they're like, yo, you mess with us, we're just going to shut down the power. You ain't going to have no power, right? So with all these different things that you've seen that's happening, have you invested in some sort of generator? I've been talking about this forever, I think, right? Have you invested in a generator where you could plug in if the power goes out and still be able to power yours, or solar power generator, right? Or portable generator, something that you could power your things and your, you know, your electronic devices so you can still keep it moving. Your fridge could keep running, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So again, this is what Pluto is about. It's about revolution. Let's continue. Another thing that happened, right? This is the French Revolution. Okay. So the French Revolution also happened during Pluto in Aquarius. This is in 1789. The French Revolution was a watershed event in world history that began in 1789 and ended in the 1790s with the ascent of Napoleon. All right. Now, for time, I'm not going to go through all this. You could read this yourself, right? But again, revolution is not something that's easy, right? And people are going to rise up against this government. It's going to happen whether you want to know it or not, right? That eat the rich thing is going to become more and more prominent as time goes on. All right. And there's going to be a lot of people that don't know how to handle it and don't have the stomach for it and are stoked in fear and uncertainty and are just ready to crash out. What else happened? The Irish Rebellion of 1798, all right? Popular insurrection against the British Crown and what was then the separate but subordinate Kingdom of Ireland, all right? The main organizing force was the Society of United Irishmen. You can read more about that if you'd like, right? But these are the things that happened last time during 1777 and 1798 while Pluto was in Aquarius. What else happened? The Haitian Revolution. All right. The Haitian Revolution. Shout out. Okay. So it says the Haitian Revolution has often been described as the largest and most successful slave rebellion in the Western Hemisphere. Enslaved people initiated a rebellion in 1791, and by 1803, they had succeeded in ending not just slavery, but French control over the colony. What do you see happening in Africa now? Aren't they kicking the French out? Right? They're kicking the French out in all these countries, Mali and uh, other parts of Africa. If you know the place in Africa, put it in the comments. But yeah, they're kicking the French out right now, currently in Africa, and paying them what they owe them and saying, look, we don't want y'all here. Like, get up out of here, right? So the revolution is already starting. And usually, just like COVID started east and comes west, that's usually how revolutionary acts often start. They start east and go west because the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. All right. So this is a time that we want to really, again, be prepared for, right? Also, another thing that happened was the Industrial Revolution, all right? The Industrial Revolution. So machines, AI, replace human labor in mass production, all right? So isn't AI a machine that's looking to replace human labor in mass production, but also the age of enlightenment. All right. So more people are going to become more quote unquote spiritual, right? More quote unquote enlightened. More people are going to be looking for the spiritual sciences and spiritual understanding of things, right? So this is going to happen. So rejoice. All right. So hard times make strong men. All right. So this is all the energy of Pluto in Aquarius, right? And this is this year of the wood snake that we are currently in. And let's look at the last time we already see Pluto in Aquarius. Let's look at the last time we were in a wood snake year. All right. If this thing will pop up, that'll be great. Let me delete some of the stuff that we've already been through. Reload this. Okay, so the last time we were one stake year was 1965. All right. So initially, when I started this, right, 1965 was when the Civil Rights Bill was passed, right? And and this is a year where Trump repealed that, right? A lot of the provisions of that with the whole DEI thing. So it says the wood snake is said to be a sign of charm, intelligence, and creativity, but also secrecy, cunning, and sometimes rootlessness, right? So both these things will be at play, right? The yin and the yang, right? But you being above the yin and the yang and you being able to see things for what they are is you being able to essentially play both sides to your benefit, right? Which means even the secrecy, the cunning, and the rootless will serve you on your behalf, right? That's magic, folks. And that's having a strong electromagnetic field. Let's look at some of the 1965 news highlights for what happened during that year, because that was the last time we were in the year of a wood snake. So Lyndon B. Johnson, right? Of notable events, the Vietnam War, the Voting Rights Act, and the assassination of Malcolm X. Lyndon B. Johnson was inaugurated as the 36th president. 6 and 3 is 9. The Voting Rights Act was signed into law. Okay. Social Security Act of 1965 was signed into law, establishing Medicare and Medicaid, which a lot of people use now. The Vietnam War escalated, right? We're currently in war, right? Ukraine, the Israel-Palestine thing. Trump just said he wants, basically, what Trump's trying to do is clear out Gaza for the people of Israel. And he told them, look, he wants the people of Gaza to go to Egypt. He's like, send them to Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Send them to Egypt, send them to Morocco, send them any place else, but get them out of Gaza so that the Israelites could take their holy land, right? We'll see how that plays out. If you think them people are going to have it, right, you got another thing coming. The Indo-Pakistan War reshaped the geopolitical landscape of South Asia, all right? Dr. Martin Luther King led a civil rights march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama. Race riots broke out in Watts, right? The Voting Rights Act, again, guaranteed African Americans the right to vote. So this was not a peaceful time, all right? This was not a time of kumbaya. This is a time where you got to wake up and stand up and prepare yourself, all right? Now, you think these guys are going to help you? They're not going to help you. They're not here to save you. They don't love you. They don't care about you. They care about their billionaire class. They don't care about what you think. They don't care about what you eat. They don't care about how you live. They don't care if you die or not. People was like, oh, Trump comes in office. Oh, RFK's in office. But look how quick RFK sold out. Look at him with the McDonald's burger. Look at his face. Look how quick he sold out when he's around the billionaire class. His people, right? But his father got assassinated fighting for the truth, right? JFK. I don't know if that's his. I might be wrong about that as being his father, right? But I know he has relation, right? And this is Trump's son. This is obviously Elon Musk, the richest man in the world. Trump, the president, right? Trump's son. And who's this guy, though, right? Who's this guy behind just watching it, right? Nobody talked about this guy. Well, this guy is Lord Peter Mandelson, right? Members of the House of the Lords of the United Kingdom, which, by the way, is far right now, or is coming into far right politics. And it says he was the Peter Mandelson, Baron Mandelson, PC. It's interesting because Trump's son's name is Baron too, right? Is a British Labour Party politician, served as first Secretary of State from 2009 to 2010, and was president of the Board of Trade in 1998 and from 2008 to 2010. All right. So he is going to be, he's 71 years old, right? But he's going to be 72 this year, right? Which comes out to 9. Right? Just interesting how it all works out. So why is a British Labour politician on a plane with Trump and RFK unless there's an allegiance between America and Britain that you don't know about? So these things are very, very infamous and very, very notorious. Again, if you are here, please hit that like button. That's all I ask. All right. And hit that subscribe button if you want more, because I will be coming with more. Now, what is RFK's solution to these problems? The savior, the one who's going to bring the health situation intact. The one, oh, red dye number 9. Yeah, they're going to change the world. Right? Still relying on these people, the external, to save you. Still think these people, these recessive genetic people, and again, I'm not talking about all white people, right? Or all Caucasian people, right? Even Caucasians know the difference between a cracker and a Caucasian, right? There's a difference between a cracker and a Caucasian, right? But he proposed wellness farms as a solution to drug addiction. Wellness farms are like plantations to me, folks. I don't know. Instead of incarceration, you're going to put me on a wellness farm? And this is what he said. This is a quote from RFK. I'm going to dedicate dedicate revenue to creating wellness farms, drug real, and he's saying he's going to take this from the weed dispensaries. I'm going to dedicate that revenue to creating wellness farms, drug rehabilitation farms in rural areas all over the country. The biggest industry now in rural areas and prisons. I'm going to change that. I'm going to make it so that people can go, if you're convicted of a drug offense or if you have a drug problem, you could go to one of these places for free. They're going to grow their own food, organic food, high quality food, because a lot of the behavioral issues are food related. I agree with him on that. The gut is the seat of your spiritual power. What you put in your body is going to affect your energy, right? You eat a lot of dead animals and things like that. Basically, you're going to have that energy in you. It's impossible, right? So you got to balance your diet. But here's what I don't agree with, right? He says a lot of the illnesses are food related. I agree. There won't be any cell phones there. There won't be any screens. We're going to reparent people. We're going to reparent people. Who asked you to reparent anyone? So they present this as an alternative. But for me, in my head, this sounds just like a plantation. I don't care what anybody says. It says we have a whole generation of kids who are dispossessed, they're alienated, they are marginalized, their suicide rates are exploding, right? So he's positioned himself as some sort of savior, right? But he can't save nobody with no farms. And eventually this might start off as a good idea, but this is America. It's a corporation. It's based on capitalism. They're going to corrupt this in somehow, some way, some form. So don't put your trust in these people, all right? These are the same people that's going to give you down Julio Tequila and Popeyes together for Black History Month, right? This is the same people that's going to do this to you and tell you it's for your benefit. Okay? And if you watch Who Cloned Tyrone, if you watch Undercover Brother, right? Those movies, you already know what's up with the chicken. Again, right before COVID, they had a chicken sandwich in Popeyes that everybody was fighting each other and standing on long lines to taste because the average human can't control their appetite. And the average human looks for food as a source of comfort, right? We've been taught that way here in America. We've been conditioned that way. But it's also something we could recondition ourselves to. And this is where fasting comes in. Fasting will put you in whatever time you want to choose. New moon's coming up. I suggest if you never fasted, try to fast at least. Start with a day. Start with a day. Start with a water fast for a day. Just water, right? Start with a day. Then see if you could do it for 2 days after you make it to that first day. And see if you could do it for 3 days and see how far you could go. That's how you start building up a habit. But you have to discipline yourself, right? Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. Pluto is in Aquarius. Saturn is all about discipline, structure, and order. So America's the land of the free. But one thing's for sure, two things for certain. Freedom has never worked for melanated people. Freedom is ultimately chaos. It's ultimately disorder. It's ultimately laissez-faire, right? Do whatever you want to whoever you want. That's never worked for any productive society. What has worked for melanated beings is when they were disciplined. For instance, the NOI, right? Whatever you feel about their philosophy or whatever, right? Under the auspices or under the guidance of Elijah Muhammad and El-Hajj Malik Shabazz, they cleaned up melanated people nationwide. Had them from shooting dope, from beating women, from being vagabonds in the street, cleaned them up, made them look nice, made them gain educations. Malcolm X wouldn't be Malcolm X, or El-Hajj Malik Shabazz wouldn't be El-Hajj Malik Shabazz, El-Shabazz, if he did not get the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. He would not be the icon we know today without Elijah Muhammad. Also, shout out to Adika Butler for this, one of the first people who talked about aliens and alien life is Elijah Muhammad in the 30s. You could look it up and verify it for yourself. But this is before Sun Ra. I thought it was Sun Ra who started Afrofuturism, but it was really Elijah Muhammad. So all this Anunnaki talk and all that, go to your ancestor altar, put a picture of Elijah Muhammad, and put a picture of get a toy, alien toy, and give him his respect if you believe in aliens that much, because he's the one who introduced the idea to the black masses of North America, so-called black masses of North America. So we've always done better under discipline. We've always done better as disciplined people. We've always done better when we put order to chaos, right? We've always done better when we have had systems in place and we lived under universal laws in order to advance and develop and unlock the genius of our melanated bodies or these melanated temples. Freedom has never been our thing. Discipline has. And through discipline, and I remember who said this? What's her name? So Venus Williams, right? Interesting enough, her name is Venus, right? The light bearer, right? Venus Williams, she said that discipline is what brings you true freedom. Without discipline, you cannot really have true freedom, because discipline gives you a square to stand on. It gives you understanding. You could stand under something, and that standing under will protect you, right? So shout out to Elijah Muhammad. Regardless of what other things he did clean up many millions of melanated beings across America. So what we're looking at is a brave new world, Captain America, right? The reason this is coming out on, make sure y'all can see what I'm seeing. Nope, see? Good thing I didn't go in. Hold up, Pixel, hold up. Let me share this. Delete this. All right. Boom. 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 All right. So Captain America, Brave New World, right? So this is coming in full effect. And looking at this, right, you're looking at Red Hulk. Now, the Red Hulk is a symbol of Trump, right? It's a symbol of Trump. Obviously, red is the color of the Republicans, right? So Red Hulk, even if you look at the Red Hulk, you could see Trump from the haircut and all that. It's Trump, right? It's a representation of Trump. Captain America is the melanated man, right? Is a representation of that. The shield is a representation of Sirius. In fact, the red, white, and blue is a representation of the star Sirius that flickers red, white, and blue and starts as heliacal. I always say that wrong. I'll just say it's rising on July 3rd of every year. This is why July 4th, 1776 is an astronomical event, and why it commemorates the start of America, right? Or the birth of America, because it's tied back to your ancestors, right? It's tied back to the Dogon, it's tied back to the dog star, which also sets off the dog days of summer, right? When the heat is on, when the heat is up, when you're getting more light hitting the planet, when it is the hottest, right? So this particular energy, right? This shield, right? And also this Captain America wasn't always called Brave New World. Captain America this movie was initially called New World Order, right? And with Trump in office, we're definitely under a New World Order, right? That's obvious to see, right? If you just look at what he's doing with the laws that he's passing, what he's doing with the immigrants, the tariffs, right? The people he's kicking out, how he's handling the government, how he's only putting his loyalists in, right? Is definitely under a New World Order, but they changed it to Brave New World, right? For obvious reasons, right? So this is a representation of us, right? And this is not a color thing. These are those who are embracing their inner darkness, right? Who are able to tap into that inner darkness of the cosmos and bring light from the cosmos onto the planet by creating new things, right? Also, this represents spiritual protection, right? By you being tapped into the cosmos, by you being tapped into nature, by you being tapped into your magic, by you creating your own mythologies, right? It's time for us to start creating our own movies, our own mythologies. See, we are living myths, whether you know it or not, right? That's why mythologies such as Marvel, DC, even horror movies, right? These things resonate with us. Sci-fi movies, right? They resonate with us because there's an aspect of reality in them, right? And this is also why they do predictive programming through a lot of these movies so that you could help create the reality that they want to see. As I told you, the last Avatar movie that came out, right, was The Way of the Water. 2 days later, there was an article that said that they found a planet that was 100% water, right? So they're using these type of things so that your perception, right, your third eye vision, your light, excuse me, can create a reality for them to now ride that wave. Remember, this is quantum physics, right? The observer effect. Before you observe something, everything is first and foremost a wave, right? So everything is a wave of potential until you actually look at it, right? So on the side of me right now, there's a wall. Scientifically speaking, that wall does not exist until I actually look at it, right? It's like when you put on a virtual headset, right? And you turn this way and turn that way. It does not exist until you actually pay attention to it and then it becomes a reality. So waves don't become particles until they're focused on. So your attention is the vibration. Your attention is what creates the frequency. Your attention is what really is what makes you a high vibrational being, right? So this shield is again a representation of the star within you or the enlightenment. When we saw the hermit card, right, him holding that candle with the star within, right, the six-pointed star representing you having a spiritual foundation or the Merkaba within you or the light body that you have within walking with. And this will make you able to protect yourself against Trump. Now, the Hulk also represents the forces of America, right? The military arm of America, and how it'll come down to try to bear upon you. Now, Captain America, aka Falcon, aka Haru, Falcon, hello. He was the first person that came out in Avengers Endgame out of the tunnel. It was the Falcon was the first one that came out because this is a Haru story. This is also why it's on Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, the heart. Haru represents the heart. The heart or Haru is the hero story, the myth, right? So your life again is a myth. It's whatever you want it to be. It's whatever you choose to create it to be. It's whatever decisions you choose to make. And that is your story. That is your living mythology. And we all have a choice on what path we choose to take. But again, this is a representation. Now, Falcon, Haru, right, doesn't have, he's not a Hulk. He doesn't have superpowers. All he has is his suit from Wakanda, right? All he has is his suit from Wakanda and his mind, right? His spirit, which is one of honor. Go watch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right? You've seen that Steve Rogers passed the shield on to him because of his character, his high character, and his nobility, which were things that the black men and women known as Moors in ancient times. I'm not talking about these new niggas, right? I'm talking about the Moors in ancient times. Moor also comes from Mao, and Mao comes from Ma'at. And Ma'at and Mao was also called the cat. The cat was called the Mao back in the times of the Kamau or the Cometians, right? So Moor or Moorish, and most people that are Moors don't even know that, it comes from that whole cat legacy, right? Of the Cometians or the Egyptians having those cats by their thrones. But so the Moors were the people that came and civilized Europe. They're the people that came and civilized Rome, right? They're the people that taught them how to wash and set up dinner plates and have salad forks and, you know, soup spoons and things like that. Those aren't European inventions. You can read the book Dirt, right? These people in Europe were throwing their feces on the ground, right? Poisoning the land that they lived on. It was so bad that they couldn't drink the water in their own land, so they only could drink liquor. So they were drunk all the time. Go read the book Dirt. I believe it's by Peter something. Dirt by book. It's giving me a different book. Hold on. Oh, okay. Dirt by Terrence McLaughlin. All right. Dirt by Terrence McLaughlin. All right. And, you know, this is when the plague was going around and stuff like that. The Moors are the people who came in and cleaned up everything. So this is a representation of this type of energy and the people that's going to win in 2025. The people that embrace their divine nature, the people that are walking around with a true Christ and Buddha consciousness, not a lot of information, not a lot of book knowledge, but a pure soul that they worked on developing during these winter months. The people that are into developing their spirit and spiritual culture and understand how to harness spirits and utilize spirits to their benefit, aka magic, which is energy and motion or emotional management, right? The people that are disciplined, who understand discipline, who can discipline themselves of certain habits, of certain addictions, certain cravings, right? And understand how to control their temple and not let their temple control them, who could slay a pet with the light of Ra, as we discussed earlier. This is that hero energy. This is that falcon energy. This is that brave new world. And this is all going to come from you. Just the same way you saw an avatar that the animals will literally come and help you, right? Survive. Animals and thrive. Animals also are in the form of people too. Never forget that, right? So your mythology will be you creating the reality that you want to see that is not the reality that is currently here now. I'm going to say that again. Your mythology is creating a reality that you want to see in the here and now with thoughts and emotions, right? Which lead to actions that are not currently here in the 3D visible world. This is the star, the light, the perception of the star Sirius. If you're serious about your work, Captain American's shield, and as the Wu-Tang say, you walk your dogs, meaning you got to take a dog out to walk, right? That's something that you have to do, right? Or your dog's going to go crazy and might start attacking you. So you got to walk your dogs. That's a discipline. That's a responsibility. And some people don't want any responsibility. They just want freedom. And it's easy, very easy to just go to church and pray and say, oh, I'm going to give it up to God and I'm going to let God handle it, right? But God is in you. God wants you to handle it. God sent you. God don't need any more prayers. God don't need any more songs. God don't need any more hollering and hooting and church dresses and fine suits and designer clothing and, you know, when the Lord comes to descend upon us and bring you to the How many years have we heard that? And there was a time where the church was necessary, right? During slavery and post-slavery and things like that, the industrial age and things like that, right? But right now we're in the information age. We have access to our ancestors' blueprints and our ancestors' plans and our ancestors' wisdom. And it's up to us to make the decision on what side you're going to be on. Are you going to be on the Red Hulk side of materialism, the side on being in this world, the side on looking for a savior, decide on thinking once I get enough money, I'll be good. Once I get the right girl, once I get the right guy, I'll be good. Once I get, you know, the jewelry, once I get the BBL, right? Once I, you know, whatever, right? Whatever external thing that you think is going to make you whole other than yourself and you breaking through your fears and your limitations, because that is going to be your shield in 2025. And until you embrace that, right, you're just going to be a slave, right? You're going to be hiding in your house, fearful, nervous, worried all day. Stay away from the news. Take an hour to yourself every day. Silence, music that has no words, music that has no words, music that has no words, music that has no words. Just an hour. And over time, you can expand that, right? And you can still do whatever you want during that time, right? Because these thoughts are going to start to come to you. Again, your parasympathetic is at its height right now. So you want to take advantage of this time. Also, some of the things you could do real quick, and we're going to shut this down, is you could get St. John's wort, all right? St. John's wort is promoted for depression, menopausal symptoms. And this is something I take myself, right? As somebody who was diagnosed with SAD, seasonal affective disorder, right? And it works well, right? St. John's wort, promoted for depression, right? Menopausal symptoms for the ladies, ADHD, all right? Those of you who have children, kids with ADHD, somatic symptom disorder, all right? A person where a person feels extreme, exaggerated anxiety about physical symptoms, all right? Get you some tea, all right? Get you some herbs, all right? Don't be a victim, right? Like I'll hear people say, oh, I have this anxiety, or I have this. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm taking a pill. Like, that's not, you don't want it. These pills, they do, and you can research these pills, these anti-anxiety medicines, these beta blockers, and what they do to you over time, right? How they cause Alzheimer's over time, right? Even like with people with diabetes, like they'll give you metformin. And then you look at what metformin does over time to the brain, right? To the stomach lining, right? When a lot of these things you could just tap in to and get some herbs and do some simple research, right? So St. John's wort, if you know you're dealing with these things, obsessive compulsive disorder and other conditions, right? Again, if you know you're depressed right now, get you some herbs. Go to Mountain Rose Herbs and order some St. John's wort, the herb, and get you one of these. Get you one of these and put the herbs in it. All right. Get you one of these type of joints and put the herbs in it. Right in the top. And let it stew. And let it sit for like 10, 15 minutes. And then you get your tea. And you get out of that depression. All right. This is things you're going to need for the year. Ashwagandha. All right. It's an evergreen shrub that may help with stress, sleep, and anxiety. All right. It's also been used to treat other conditions. Of course, they're going to say this, right? But studies have shown that ashwagandha can help reduce stress and anxiety levels. It can help with insomnia and fatigue. Ashwagandha may help improve sleep and reduce sleeplessness. Ashwagandha may help improve memory and cognitive abilities, okay? For the smokers out there, the tree smokers, short-term memory's gone, all right? Start getting some ashwagandha, all right? Ashwagandha may help improve VO2 max, which is a measurement of heart and lung thickness, and may also increase muscle strength. You're going to need that, especially if things are going to get real revolutionary. You don't know who you may have to fight, especially you men, all right? Ashwagandha may help boost the immune system, anti-inflammatory properties, neuroprotective properties, all right? Help with infidelity, anti-cancer, anti-diabetic, all right? Hypothyroidism. Get you some ashwagandha, mountain rose herbs again, all right? Holy basil, okay? Is an adaptogen. which means it helps the body respond to stress and restore normal function. All right. This is a call to action for y'all. All right. Holy basil may help lower blood pressure. How many people got high blood pressure in the melanated community? Reduce cholesterol levels, blood sugar, and people with diabetes. How many people have diabetes in the melanated community and other communities? Reduce inflammation, promote wound healing, improve cognitive function, right? And the thing is, I'm putting these together because you can actually put all these herbs together, right? You could put ashwagandha, St. John's wort, and holy basil together, all right? And again, you want the herb. You can get the pills and all that, but I highly recommend the herb. And before you even do all that, I would recommend you getting wormwood tea, all right? When I have people and they come to me and they really trying to change something, the first thing I do is put them on wormwood tea, right? They're really trying to make a transition or change. And what this does is, well, let's read it. Supports digestion by stimulating appetite, aiding in stomach issues like indigestions and gas, and potentially helping with liver function due to its bitter compounds, which may produce bile production. A lot of the liver is very close to the sacral chakra. So a lot of people's emotions or their senses, right, are trapped in the liver. A lot of anger is trapped in the liver. A lot of pain gets trapped in the liver. So if you've never taken any type of tea or never done anything, this is what we would call somatic healing, right? To cleanse the liver, right? Never fasted or anything like that. To cleanse the liver, then you won't be maximizing this vehicle. It's like you have a Ferrari, right? But you're putting regular gas in there, right? And you never clean the oil. This is you cleaning the oil in your car, right? Wormwood tea. And this will help you also when you want to start something new, right? To help aid you while you're doing your meditations, while you're doing your moon gazing, your sun gazing, while you're doing your yoga, while you are doing your studies, while you are doing your visualizations, creating your vision boards, right? Feeling these things in the now to create the future that you want, right? Feeling that you're abundant at all times, feeling that you're safe and protected at all times, feeling that nobody can fuck with you at all times, feeling that you are open to the world, but also you will cut a motherfucker's head off if you need to, right? Verbally, spiritually, right? If you need to, right? That you have the ability to protect yourself at all times, right? Regardless if you have crystals on, regardless if you're doing any type of spell work, right? Your electromagnetic field, your shield, right? Your star, right? Will be seriously powered. So this is one of the ways. So I recommend before you do anything, get this wormwood tea, drink it for like 2 to 3 days. First thing in the morning, you want to start with bitters in the morning if you can, because these things help to purify the stomach. Also, when you wake up in the morning, one of the first things you want to do is drink a glass of water with some lemon, because remember, you're coming from the astral realm, right? And your body has repaired itself, right? So you want to flush whatever is in the stomach, whatever toxins that have been repaired and are sitting at the bottom of the stomach. You want that to come out, right? So glass of water with a little bit of lemon, right? And then you start to get your teas, right? Your bitters. And also you want to get rhodiola if you can, right? So rhodiola, you can see this right here, is another adaptogen, which is which will provide you, as it says here, muscle fatigue and damage, antioxidant activity. This helps with muscle damage, inflammation, energy systems, antioxidant activity, perceived exertion, right? So it'll help you become stronger, right? It'll help you level up, right? It'll help you step into your Heru. It'll help you step into your Falcon, right? So your superpowers will not only be something that is external, but your superpowers will be internal, right? That you've honed and developed. And last but not least, milk thistle, all right? Milk thistle is another liver busting agent. And as you see, diabetes, acne control, bone health, liver disease, cancer treatment, breast milk, protects liver, antioxidant, brain health. Again, you could get all of these from Mountain Rose Herbs, all right? And or you could go, on Etsy and find herbalists and they'll send you these things already, all right? This is also something I don't recommend Amazon, but if you find them on Amazon and you want to rock with them, or be my guest, right? But these are things that'll help put you in alignment. And let's share this and close out with this. We have a 6-planet alignment currently, and there's a reason why we have a 6-planet alignment currently. And we're going to go into a 7th planet next month where Mercury's join the fray. Now, when you hear Mercury or you hear about the 7th planet, you automatically got to think that there's chakra energy involved, right? So let's go into this. Hopefully y'all can hear.
Hi, how are you? So, some of you have asked me, what does this planetary parade or this alignment of 6 of our planets in the sky is really meaning for us? And I have to think about it in terms of how I often teach when I talk about the planets. If you are the youngest sibling and you open your front door and outside are standing 6 of your elder siblings, soon to be joined by another, and all of your siblings are standing outside your front door, lined up, you probably know that big things are definitely happening. For sure, you know that they're in alignment with some cause, some reason, some purpose. It could be because they love you a lot, but some purpose has brought them to your front door. Some reasoning, some big moment has brought them to your front door, and they're all aligned under whatever that moment is. And so, as the youngest sibling, you've got to get in alignment too with the purpose of why they showed up. A force of 7 planets in alignment is calling us here on Earth to get in alignment. We live in a solar system, a family. Our actions not only impact us, it impacts our siblings, our elder siblings, with whom we share this solar system. So, yes, they're calling us to task. Yes, they're pulling us in alignment. Yes, they're letting us know we're here. We're part of this. You're in relationship to us. So we're in relationship to the earth as humans, and the earth is in relationship to the other planets in its solar system, and the solar system is in relationship to the galaxy, and the galaxy is in relationship to other galaxies. It's all about relationship. So as humans, we're being called into deeper relationship with ourselves and with each other. It is a show of solidarity. It is a show of solidarity in the highest order. And it's calling us to show up for each other, show up for ourselves, show up for yourself, show up for each other, show up for your planet, and ultimately we'll be showing up for the larger order of things. The end of the month of February, we get joined by a 7th sibling. Big things. Big things are going on. This is a rare occurrence, and it's calling us to task with, are we in alignment with ourselves? Are we in solidarity with ourselves? Are we in solidarity with our people? Are we in solidarity with our community? Are we in solidarity with our earth? And are we in solidarity with the universe, the cosmos? That's my explanation. Take care. Bye-bye.
So
Hi.
she dropped the science on this whole snake 7 year, right? Kundalini energy coming through the chakras, right? This is what this time is about, right? This is the time to get aligned. This is why these planets are in orbit this winter, now, tomorrow, tonight, right? Start planning, write these things down, journal on what's the new things that you want to put into existence, that you want to put into practice, right? So buy some of these herbs, get you a electric a tea kettle, right? Like, you got to do something different, folks, if you want to have different results. It's not going to happen just from you wishing it away. It's not going to happen just from you praying it away. It's not going to happen from you drinking it away or smoking it away. You got to face your fears. You got to face your traumas, and you got to face your challenges head on, right? And you got to enact some discipline in your life. Some new structures have to be implemented if you want to maximize who you truly are. These planets are in alignment for you. Planetary parade is for you. This planetary parade is for you. I'm not just saying us. I'm saying it's for you. What are you going to do with it, right? You're just going to talk about it? Like, people are like, oh, it's the 25th, right? The 25th been passed. These planets out there shining and blinging, right? It's going to happen this month and next month going into March, and it's going to go away. The power is going to go away. The energy is going to go away. There's a reason these planets are close to Earth. It's for you. It's for you. So, are you going to take advantage? Are you going to tap into your spiritual powers? Right? Or, are you just going to let it go by and worry about, planet risk and the gnomes and Bigfoot and what's behind the ice wall and the latest conspiracies? Because the greatest conspiracy is you being God here on Earth. The greatest conspiracy is you not knowing who you are. That's the greatest conspiracy on the planet, is so they cannot let you know how powerful you are. It's fear of a black planet. It's fear of a black messiah. The Edgar Hoover told you that, right? It's fear of you resurrecting to your ancient wisdom and your ancient power and your ancient culture and tapping into that. Again, I'm not against these European deities or this European mythologies and things like that. But when you see me this year, like, I'm going to tap into the tarot and things like that. But my ancestors got enough deities for days that are way more powerful for me, right? And I've seen them work, from working with Alekba, right, to working with, even, what you call it, from even working with Mama Brigitte and other deities, right? I would encourage you, those of you into just the Hindu deities, those of you just into the Hindu deities, the John D, the Aleister Crowleys, come home, see what's out there for you. See if it works different, right? See what type of effect it has on your life. Try that magic and see, right? Research that and come back home. Anybody got any questions before I go? Anybody have any questions? And never forget this, right? There's no measure of health to be well adjusted in a profoundly sick society. So if they call you crazy for doing you, let you be crazy. If they call you crazy for being bold, let them call you crazy. Some of you who want to come on social media and do things like this, I highly recommend you start on TikTok, because TikTok rewards the average person, right? TikTok rewards you if you got a bonnet on, if your hair ain't cut, if you don't look polished. TikTok is more of the place to do that and express yourself and, go through the motions of learning and developing your voice here on social media, right? So I recommend TikTok. But never let someone think that you're stupid or crazy for pursuing this walk. But remember, it is a walk. Remember, there are actions to take. Remember, you're not going to find your salvation in books. You're not going to find your secrets in these books. There's no secret mantra or secret spell that you're going to conjure something up that's not here to serve you. The archangels, the Loa, the Orisha, they have certain limits, right? They have certain functions, but you could be all the Orisha. You could be all the Loa. You could be all the Orisha, all the archangels at different places and at different times. You just have to know who you are, right? And this spiritual power will be imbued to you the highest you go up on the tree of life. All right. Let me show you this. This is for Ultra because he been with me for a while. Let me show you, Ultra. Yeah, they found a water world. Now, well, just to prove my point for what I said before, and I'm gonna close with this. So Avatar, The Way of the Water, right? Release date, December 16, 2022. Remember, I told you they use your perception to create a reality. If you believe it's true, then they could create that reality, right? And then they could pursue that reality based on group consciousness, based on the collective consciousness, which is the soul. All right. The spirit is an individuation of consciousness. There are different spirits for different things. You have a spirit around your mother or your father, then the spirit around you have your boyfriend and girlfriend, right? There's different spirits for different things. So the soul, though, is a collective. The soul is all. The soul is one, right? Everything that is in existence have a soul, whether it's a weak soul. What now? Some people say some people don't have a soul, right? That's neither here nor there. If you're a man and woman and that spark comes and you come from a womb, I don't know how you don't have a soul, right? Now, whether you unlock it or don't unlock it, or stay stuck in your R complex where you act like a reptilian or a snake, a Trump, a Elon Musk, etc., which are really hurt people that are just hurting people, then you could say you haven't harnessed your soul, but to say you don't have a soul and you're not part of the collective, that can't be true. Or else why would they be anti-you? Why would that be a force that you are here to rise up against, or you are here to master and manipulate to your benefit, right? Similar to what Kanye did with Kim Kardashian when he got those people free. But anyway, Avatar, The Way of the Water, December 16, 2022, right? But remember, it premiered on December 6th in London, 2022. Now keep in mind this date, right? Keep in mind this date and look at this. And this is again just to prove the point with true gnosis, not just my opinion. So this is 2 exoplanets, right? Maybe mostly water. Now this date is on December 15, 2022. Okay? Is that a coincidence? No. That's not a coincidence. Okay? Again, that's happened. They premiered Avatar really on December 6th, but it came out on December 16th. By December 15th, 2022, Avatar came out, Way of the Water, December 16, 2022. December 15, 2022, right here, there's 2 exoplanets, maybe mostly water. Team led by researchers at the University of Montreal has found evidence that 2 exoplanets orbiting a red dwarf star are water worlds. It just so happens in Avatar, the movie, they were on a place of the planet that was water. Okay? So again, you create the reality. The collective consciousness creates the reality. Fun fact, when you go to a movie and all y'all watch, your brain's hemisync, meaning that everybody's brain is on the same frequency at once because everybody's focused on the same thing. So when they say you create your reality, yeah, you do internally, right? And your internal affects the external world, but that doesn't mean things won't happen on the external world. It's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to it. And this game is a light and sound show. The light is your perception, right? The light is your imagination. The sound is your thoughts, right? Every word that you speak, every mantra that you utter is a sound, right? So sound, right? Sound is primarily verbal thinking, logical thinking, critical thinking, all are properties of the left brain, right? Light, imagination, visualization, holistic thinking is right brain, light, right? So we're in a sound and light show, right? And what put us together, what makes it whole, or makes the yin and the yang, or both hemispheres of the brain sync up, is the third eye that is pyramid shaped, right? And the pyramid is the strongest structure on the planet, right? So that pyramid, that cone shape, right, of your perception here on the planet, how you see things. And that is where your spiritual powers are. All right, y'all. This is a long ass video, but I think I covered a lot, and hopefully it benefits you and yours. With that said, hit a like button, hit a share button. If you need a reading, if you wanted to do a consultation with me, you can hit me here, robblackstorm@gmail.com. If you want to donate, I appreciate it. $ Rob Blackstorm 7. Like, of course, share, subscribe, and we're gonna go into this the next time when we talk about the new moon in Aquarius, right? Because the new moon in Aquarius, this is the energy that we're coming with. When everybody has their own individual skill set, their own individual unique powers, their own individual unique ways of seeing things, right? But coming through, right, no matter the race, creed, culture, or class, to take on the powers that were, right? And to create new realities, new Avengers towers, so to speak, right? If you understand the mythology of a tower, right? Like the tower on a tarot card. Oh, snap. Y'all can't even see what I'm seeing. Hold on. I don't know why this shit does that. Hold on. But yeah, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I appreciate your time. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the likes. Peace, power, and prosperity. Rob Blackstorm. One love. I'll see you soon.